I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the
broken.
I'm serious. These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Oh my god!
Smack in the ass. That's biting. You smacking people in the ass. What's up, everybody? We are back. MMM is back for episode 93. And if we learned one thing from watching this movie, and Gore King phrased this perfectly for the title of the show, love opens holes.
Yeah.
Many big holes. Oh, thanks, Whitey. Or Jacob. That's beautiful. That's scary, but that's beautiful. But thank you very much. All right, everybody, we are back, episode 93. And I didn't realize this when I took the week off a couple of weeks ago. We just skipped over episode 91. So we just shot right through to 93. I didn't redo the numbers. So fuck it.
Keep it like that.
Yeah, we're on 93. Fuck it, who cares? We do have a fantastic panel to talk about this movie. And boy, is there a lot to say about this movie. So we'll do the best we can breaking it down. But first, back on the show, Jacob Ironside. My man, thank you for joining us, and welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, this movie, I was actually looking at the time watching it. Is it over yet? No, there's still an hour left.
You're in a time loop in a black hole.
It only feels like 14 years.
I'm interested to get to talk about this one.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be fun. Thanks, buddy. Niat, my man, this guy was so dedicated to be on the show. He was here a day early and screwed up all his plans a whole day early just to be here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I had a bit of an autism yesterday, and I'm still recovering from that. But glad to be here. Big fan of the show.
Oh my god, this poor guy. Yeah, the sad thing is when he was telling me this yesterday, I'm relaxing. I couldn't help not laugh, and I was like, "Bro, like I'm not laughing at you, but I kind of am." So,
wait a minute. Yeah. We're getting Niat's like tappings on the bookshelf for this whole stream. Is that what we're getting?
Right? Oh yeah.
We're just translating his Morse code.
I have a watch next to me. I don't see the little hand moving back. Anyway, thanks for being on the show, buddy. And then of course we have more colored people on the show. Kata is back.
Yes. Except I count because I'm not Australian. I have a grudge against Australians. Not you. You seem pretty cool, but you other kangaroo fuckers. I don't really like you guys.
Well, technically, I was born in Africa, so I'm the.
He's better than me. Never mind.
He's 100% authentic, buddy. Whoops.
He's the real Mr. Man. All right, but yeah, what's up? I'm Kata. It's been a few months. Yeah. We're gonna talk about one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. Mm-hmm. I love this film with a deep passion. I see the flaws, but I embrace them as they are. Okay, I love it. Okay, love opens holes. Okay, and if you keep that in your mind, you'll always be able to get in that hole.
Oh God! Don't ask where the corn's going, though. That's you don't ask those questions.
Does it take 14 years?
Gore King, you beautiful pumpkin man.
Hi. Yeah, we're talking Interstellar, the first movie that made me think, Nolan, I'm not so sure about this one, buddy. I mean, this is one of those movies where I wouldn't say a love-hate relationship because I don't love or hate it. It's more I enjoy watching it because I appreciate what he was going for, but I think this movie is a big swing and a miss. Even though I get what people like about it, I get why it hits certain emotional notes for people, but this movie, in a lot of ways, is kind of a train wreck. It's a beautiful train wreck, but a train wreck.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. White Bear with your Lion King I can't wait to break this movie now. At Vex in the new year, this movie's on the list right here. We're breaking down the Lion King. What is it called again, Whitey? The Lion King.
King Remake-a-Boot.
Remake-a-boot. Okay.
Remake-a-boot.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do it on my channel though. That's I'll like return to live streaming with this.
yeah. Just this movie. Yes. Please.
This is your debut right there.
Yep. Oh God, this is fantastic. Hello, Whitey. How are you?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
I'm just over here edging. So
Cool.
I'm doing good. I saw this movie and
He's like, I saw it. Yeah.
I saw it, but
Wow.
wow. So yeah, it was a thing, and
Sure
it's
was.
very like subtitles. Like I'm squinting at the subtitles. Like I'm like, please make this make sense for me. I don't know. But yeah, as we get into it, I'm sure you'll know how I feel about it. But
Yeah.
it's definitely there, and thank goodness for remixes for the music and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Good times, good times. Vex and I'm not even gonna say it. I can't.
Say it. Say it.
Nope.
Vex enter nigga.
I'm too. There you go. He could say I can't. I'm too white. So
You're Sicilian, and Sicilian people historically have
That's
some
true.
black blood. So
yes, that is very true. How you doing, Vex?
I think I might hate this movie. Sorry, Katie.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I rewatching it because I was just kind of like, oh, this is an enjoyable movie, but it's dumb. And then rewatching it, I was just like, no, this movie's just dumb. I'm sorry. I couldn't get over it. Like, I legitimately took breaks from watching this to go beg Gord to give Arthur Morgan a bath in his Red Dead Redemption.
Yes, which I gave him 3 during that stream.
Yeah,
there you go.
You a good boy.
There you go, boy.
You are right there, boy.
Yeah. This is a movie. Like I said earlier, I used to love this movie, and yeah, flaws and all. But now rewatching it, I was messaging the guys here a lot in our chat over the weekend, going, "What does this mean? Why is this doing this? Why is this character?" It was a lot. There was a lot going on, but we'll break some of that down. Real quick, the chat. I see you all in the chat. You're all beautiful people.
Damn.
Did he just die?
He died.
He died. All right.
He
Chad
died.
didn't love
entered the
that
fifth
much,
dimension.
apparently.
He wanted to tell you, Chad, that he thinks all of you are really gay. He doesn't know why you're here.
Sorry.
There should be a cover charge. All of you should super chat.
My mic went through. My mic. Yeah.
White Bear, is that Bubba Scup?
Bumba?
Gone for
Bumba?
That's
51
Bubba
years,
Scup.
man.
A Bumba, baby.
Was I gone for 51 years?
Yeah, now it sounds like you're in a black hole, though.
Yeah.
Oh, God, hold on.
Yo, that's
Murph.
my Dragon Age character.
Murph!
Don't let me leave, Murph. Is that better?
Make him stay, Murph. Make him
Make
stay.
it stay. Write it down in the book, you stupid.
Don't let me
bitch.
leave like this, Murph.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I should clarify one thing. I said I can understand why people love this movie, but I can similarly understand why someone would hate this movie because there's a lot wrong with it. Not even just in storytelling. I should clarify that also. I don't think this is a very well cast movie either. I get increasingly more annoyed when I watch it because I think most of the main actors are bad for their roles, save for like
Hold on. Like who? Give us examples.
I don't think Matthew McConaughey is the right person for that role. I don't think Anne Hathaway is good. I don't think Matt Damon's good for his role. I think, if anything, I might have swapped Anne Hathaway and Jessica Chastain because I know Jessica Chastain can play an effective astronaut. She did it in The Martian. She actually feels kind of natural in that role. I would have cast somebody completely different in Matt Damon's role. I don't even know who, just somebody who wasn't. Now, granted, I would have written his role very different because his dialogue is awful. So it might not even be his fault. But like Michael Caine works because Michael Caine works in everything. You could cast him as anything and he would work. You could cast him as one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's students in a kindergarten cop and he would work. But
your mic still sounds like it's fucking the fifth dimension right now.
Murph, hold on, Murph.
Do you need the one from upstairs?
I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, it just took a shit. I don't know what happened. What happened?
Really, it's kind of funny that we see this bookcase because it sounds like we're hearing him from behind it.
This is the audio for the movie. Wow.
Noli's our ghost.
He's in a tesseract.
He's in a tism rack.
You might have to restart, bro.
This is Fucking A is what it is.
Oh,
You want the one?
you sound good now.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Yeah, much better.
I never.
I was
have
stuck
these
behind a
problems.
bookshelf for 38 years.
Jeez.
Real quick.
Oh,
real quick.
jeez.
Oh God, we have a super chat from Hostman's Interstellar Arrival plus AI artificial intelligence, all united in the pseudoscience of pseudoscience of love makes me sick. AI is vastly superior film to the former. Thank you, Hostman. And for you, I got a new one for you, Hostman. This one's for you too.
Yes.
I promised, and it happened.
Oh my gosh.
Oh God, the things
What
I
the
do.
actual hell was that?
You don't even need to. Don't ask. It comes from.
It's a new Pixar movie coming out.
Is this one of the weird YouTube Kids animations?
It is. Yeah.
I knew it. There's some random ones out there.
Holy crap.
Oh man! All right.
I had not seen that clip. That's amazing.
Since this movie's 51 years long, let's get into it here. Okay, so you get the beginning with the what turned. Well, we all know who this is. Did anybody pick this up right away? Who this person was?
Yes.
After a little while, I did. Yeah.
I honestly forgot. Like every time I come back to this movie, I forget this opening with the old people. I completely forget about it.
That doesn't make sense.
I honestly don't even think it's necessary.
Sorry,
No,
Jacob.
it's not. I mean, you have that at the beginning, and you never see it again until like the very end.
Yeah, it's just they're trying to do this whole thing. Well, I guess the interviews with the people, besides her, because the beginning, that's his daughter, and that's an actual actress. But the other people was real footage about people talking about the Dust Bowl from back in the day that happened.
Yeah, right.
So I get it, but like.
Cannoli, that actual actress is a pretty big actress. She
is,
right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's Ellen Burstyn.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So like, immediately,
Who the hell is that?
Peter Parker's aunt or something. I don't know.
She was in she's the one good thing about Requiem for a Dream. She's the old lady who's getting on drugs. She should have won an Oscar for it. It's the only thing I like about the movie.
Just so you know, breaking news: Joe Rogan has endorsed Donald Trump for the.
Oh wow!
Right, surprise!
Who would have known? Oh my
anyway, we're on the eve of elections. So you got that beating, and then this part here, which you thought would lead to something later on. So they show Matthew McConaughey flying early because he was he worked for NASA. Something happens to his plane. He wakes up, and you kind of don't know what the fuck is going on for most of the movie. Until
I won't say that's nothing. I mean, they're trying to give you just the idea that he's a pilot. He was good, and they do a little bit more with that later. But
well, the two scenes that we see of Ellen Burstyn and Matthew McConaughey, it's like a really quick prologue. The first one is setting the Dust Bowl conditions that humanity is trying to endure, and the second is giving us the first clue that he is a pilot. I think if we didn't have that, him being chosen by NASA to pilot the endurance mission would not make sense. We'd just be like, what the fuck?
100%. Who is this guy? Yeah. What do you do? Oh, God. Waylon Bocephus. Nolan can't write dialogue, Star Wars prequel level.
Wrong! He's not wrong. It's like he's capable of both, oddly enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like he actually has some movies where his dialogue is actually pretty strong. Like I think Oppenheimer has really good dialogue. I think some of his early movies have good dialogue. And then this.
I was about to say, you get movies like Oppenheimer, and then you get movies like Tenet, where you don't know what the hell.
I don't know what the fuck.
I thought that was just a really long music video.
Even though I really do like Tenet, I like Tenet, but my God, what the fuck are they talking about?
I honestly, I find Tenet more entertaining than this. I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure which has more plot holes, but I've rewatched Tenet more times than Interstellar. Neither of them a lot.
I understand.
What's ironic is the initial script to this was very much like Tenet. It was written by Rip Torn, the theoretical physicist, and it was very cerebral. And Jonathan Nolan came on board and said that those concepts were quite foreign to the majority of people that would be watching the film, and so they're trying to tie it to something, and they chose love. Come on.
Waylon, for you get this one, buddy.
Hold it. The next man makes a move.
gets it.
Thank you. Oh, and Gooch. 5
Gucci boy.
You beautiful, sexy Italian man, you. God, let's do. God, I swear with all these. Okay, I'll do this one for you because this is our.
She got a great ass. When I think of asses, something comes out of me.
Thank you, Gooch, and then of course, God damn, Ransom. Thank you, buddy. Good for the good cannolis. This is you're a beautiful man, Ransom. Thank you very much for that, and then I'll give you this one because this is just a hearty thank you for you.
Hey, maybe I'll give you a call sometime. Your number still 911? Oh, righty then.
Thank you all. You're all beautiful people. I love you. I see you all in the chat. I love you all. Anyway, so yeah, this is where young Murph, who actually, I don't think the girl actress was terrible.
No, she's good. She can act. She's a pretty solid actress. I like this version of her more than her CG child version in Twilight.
I was just about to bring that up. But isn't she the weird baby head in Twilight?
yeah, baby head.
Legendary film.
This whole idea, like she comes in saying, "Oh, the ghost." They're talking about this ghost that's in her room. And so this whole theory about she has this thing in her room that's knocking books off the shelves.
That's just your uncle, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who else saw this in the theater, but this was present from the outset. This was the first Nolan movie where the sound, like the bad sound mixing, kind of became a staple for about 4 movies. This is where it started. And like the dialogue was like oddly muted, and like a lot of the music and the effects were like turned up to 11. I was just like I literally thought I was just a bad theater. I was like, why can I barely hear this?
Watching this in IMAX was a living hell because you got the pianos. Like when they do the first takeoff and he's doing the poem into the night. I couldn't hear shit he was saying because it's just I couldn't hear nothing, dude. The girl beside me was like, "What's happening?" I was like, "This is I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is."
You'll find out in 51 years, girl. That's what's gonna happen. So because of the dust and what's going on. So again, I don't need my hand held throughout an entire movie. If you're gonna give me subtle hints of what's happening, where we are, you don't really know where do they ever really explain what part of the world or country, what country they're even in at any point?
Well, it is the U.S.
It is.
We know it's the U.S. and I'm trying to remember the 2 baseball teams they're playing. One's New
Yankees.
York, and then there's another team I can't remember. I'll tell you this: the more I've thought about this, I think those sequences where they're interviewing the older people, I genuinely dislike those for 2 reasons. One, because you don't need them to set up the whole Dust Bowl thing you got going. That's obvious throughout the film. Second, it gives away that they succeed.
Yes.
I think that's a really bad idea.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Stop ruining one of my favorite films. I never thought of it like that.
That's it.
Wait. Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that again, Gord? Sorry.
Yeah, obviously, you don't need to tell people about the Dust Bowl thing because that's obvious throughout the film what's going on. They talk about it constantly. But second, you're giving away that they succeed. I mean, because you're seeing these old people talk about this as though they got through it. And I'm like,
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
I definitely
the drama.
I definitely hear where you're coming from in that it is a bit unnecessary, but I didn't get the impression that they had succeeded. I sort of saw it more as them explaining how it began. And so it could have gone in either direction.
Maybe some people survived, not other. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So Murph is this is where we meet the Timothy Chalamet, who I forgot was in this movie as the brother.
I was today years old when I realized that's Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, I was like, what a dumbass.
Chalamet.
That's Paul
Chalamet. Yeah,
that's the daughter, dude.
He looks like a girl, so so this is where you get the whole one of his space fucking models broke, and she's trying to explain to him what happened, and he's like, why are you breaking our stuff? And she's like, no, it's the ghost. And then she's going through this whole thing about like it could be a poltergeist, and so the dad is so focused on whatever he's got to do in his daily activities because he fucking hates being a farmer. We find out obviously and why, but he's not even paying attention. But the grandfather, that was his wife's father, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, this is his father-in-law.
Yeah, which John Lithgow, he's a great actor, so he was a good casting in this.
He was really strong casting. I like.
Yeah, I wish he was in it a little more, but whatever. We have to see black holes more later on anyway. But so this is a whole thing about how he's got to go meet the teacher. Like he's not really he's aware he has kids, but he's not really involved. He's kind of just. Am I misinterpreting that?
I mean he's involved, but he I think the idea is that he's he kind of just feels like he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing. There's kind of a similar character arc for like Bruce Willis in Unbreakable, where there's a part of him that's detached because he's not doing what he should be doing. Granted, in this movie, he knows that thing that he should be doing is being a pilot.
Exploration.
That's kind of one of my big issues with the movie is the fact that they even say they trained him. He didn't necessarily know he was training for the mission they put him on, but I'm like, why did you need him to just randomly discover NASA if you thought he was the perfect person to begin with?
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Very weird.
Stop ruining my favorite.
And then in the background, you can see in the background there's an okra farm that's being burned because basically okra's gone. It's the last harvest ever for okra, so corn's like the only sustainable thing that they can grow. So I'm just sitting here going, this is where, okay, like I said, I don't need everything explained to me like a retard, even though I am slightly one. Why is nobody else but in the whole fucking world growing this shit except this one region? And where the fuck is this region? And why is
what makes me think it's probably somewhere like Iowa? It would probably be somewhere like Iowa.
Somewhere in the Midwest.
Yeah. I mean, Iowa's obviously known for its cornfields and stuff. But
I get that.
Why don't they have biodomes to grow this stuff in?
Yeah, you're asking questions. I don't know. They don't have college armies anymore, but they have colleges.
Things to polish, sure, but
I actually know. As far as I know, they are growing stuff in other parts of the world because they say, hey, we need more farmers. It's just this happens to be a place where you can grow, a lot better than other places. That's what makes me think it's probably Iowa. Like even the baseball field thing, we know about the whole Field of Dreams thing. That place exists, and heck, even the MLB uses it now.
True story.
Well, literally everything revolves around corn. They drink corn juice. They have corn at the
corn.
Yeah, like his kid is partially made out of corn.
You get to drink ethanol for like breakfast.
Yeah, that's part of waking up.
Yeah, this is where he so the car has a tire blowout and he's like, fix this, son. You're stupid. You could fix things though. And then the kid's like, whoa, how do I fix it? He's like, I don't know. I'm not going to be here forever. No shit.
Wink, wink, foreshadow.
Foreshadow. So they're really emphasizing the relationship with the daughter, of course, because that's where the emotional weight is, glue is for this movie. And why did you name me after something bad? Because the brother always teases like Murphy's Law. And then he tries to explain, like, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means whatever can happen will happen. So he's like, that sounds pretty good to me. Till you give her a watch.
He could have just told her, he's like, I didn't name you after Murphy's Law. I named you after RoboCop.
Yeah, I gave you a watch, bitch. You didn't
I loved RoboCop.
Yeah.
The kid, the son doesn't know how to fix a tire. He's grown up on a farm. He doesn't know how to fix a tire.
Look at him. He's stupid.
Is it made of corn? No, that's where his education ends.
But yeah, so they find like this drone rolling around, and this Gord, you were cracking me up in our chat. Like, oh look, it's drama. It's like they're chasing a drone through the car. And you get Hans Zimmer's
score. It's
an
odd scene because the music makes this seem so dramatic that they're just chasing this drone around. And I'm like, all right, they're chasing a drone. What even happens from this scene that was necessary? I was like,
they almost died because their son's a retard.
And then a tornado shows up, and you have to embrace the suck.
Embrace the suck zone. And this is how stupid. This is part one, like where this kid is really stupid. Is that he sees the cliff coming. And then he's got to ask his dad to stop the car. It's like, bro, and he's like,
should I stop?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
This is the only defense I will give this part of the movie. Okay, it's kind of established throughout the entire film that the son he's not too bright upstairs.
No.
So that's why he's fine with being a farmer and things like that.
Yeah.
So I could see him literally going, my dad said drive off the cliff, so I'm gonna drive off the cliff. So I mean, when I looked at that, I'm like, it's stupid, but I could see it because the character himself is not that stupid.
I might forgive it more if I hadn't watched The Office, where he drives into the lake, and that show obviously. But I guess. Well, how much of an it kind of does bug me a little bit that farmers are presented this movie as though they're low intelligence people. It's like farmers are not stupid people. They're actually pretty dang smart.
Yeah. Of course, she got the brains that, like, because he's a genius, right? He's an engineer and he's a pilot.
Well, the girls are known for the STEM fields in 2016.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Well, what's up, Daxonar? Yes, this movie's something. It's something. But he has equipment that can basically take over the drone. And then again, here's another port. And Gore brought this up, which I wasn't even paying attention to. He's like, she's upset that they're killing the drone. But it's not a living thing.
It's an odd line. She's like, do we have to do that? It's like, why can't we just let it go? It's not hurting.
Okay.
I'm like,
exactly. It's a
freaking drone.
Just
What is wrong
crashed
with
it.
you?
Yeah,
I trashed it on the ground, and she wants him to let it go.
I definitely hear your criticism, but it's to set up the line about adaptability, because that's the main difference between Tom and Murph. Tom is extremely stubborn. He's stuck in his ways. He's not that intelligent. And Murph is extremely adaptable. And we see that as the story progresses. But they could have just come up with a better way than don't hurt the robot.
Yeah. That's that's just in a nutshell my overall criticism of the movie. It's just, I get what they're going for a lot of the time, and it could have been really, really good, but some of the ways they get there, it's like,
it took 4 years to get there as well, Gord. 4 years to write that dialogue. Yeah.
This little maneuvers. Anyway. So yeah, he has to go meet with the teachers for Murph because she got in trouble. And I love how she's doing the Morse code thing in her book, trying to figure out what the message is in her room. But like the dad, McConaughey's like, am I going to be mad? And she's like, not with me. It's kind of like, okay. And then he walks into the school, and then immediately, like you said, hey, your son's going to be a good farmer. And he's like, okay, well, we need a lot of those. So that's fine.
Your son's retarded.
He's a little stupid.
Pretty much.
Clean your fucking table, buddy. All the dust and shit everywhere.
We put some peanut butter on the windows for him to lick later.
So they were talking about, like, he was like, where do my taxes go? Like, why can't my son go to college? He needs to be educated still. There's no more armies.
I'll be honest, I really hate the dialogue in this scene. It's such clear expositional dialogue. It's very on the nose. It's kind of cringe, some of the things, like the whole, we have revised textbooks now that talk about how the moon landing was propaganda, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they would never admit that in a textbook if that's true. I mean, I get that you can introduce
why
that
take
as
away
concept,
the only hope people might have of surviving this, whatever.
Well, like the whole
take
idea
away
the
that,
movie's trying to present is we've got to save the earth. We've got to save the earth. And I'm like, that doesn't really jive with the modern, with culture. That's hard to really identify with.
Right.
There's so much talk about, we might want to try to save the planet, but ultimately it is finite. So, there's it's such a weird idea that they would think that, well, we can't look into.
This is what happens when SpaceX competes with NASA.
Especially to a guy who was a pilot and flew to NASA. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know how they thought this was going to come off, but this part here is a little weird. And I do like his response is pretty funny, because I'm like, well, what can we do? And he's like, well, she's in a little bit of a baseball phase, so her favorite team's playing.
This is like this is a part of the dialogue that's actually pretty funny and good. I like the response he gives her. It's like, yeah, that's good. I like that.
Yeah,
has the semblance of a solid joke and a nice little comeback, and it's like, that's good. It's just weird way to get there.
It's bizarre, because if they're in such a crisis, why would the government solution be to turn their citizens into flat earthers, essentially. Like trying to dumb them down instead of trying to encourage
we don't
them
need
to innovate.
engineers. It's like,
you
you really need engineers.
You really do.
At this point.
To your point earlier about them not setting up biodomes, if they've mixed engineering with farming techniques, they'd be able to cultivate greater crops. So
well,
God.
I mean, shoot, you look at like a movie like The Martian, where the whole movie is about a huge portion of the movie is him farming potatoes on a planet that you shouldn't be, by all accounts would be near impossible to cultivate. And I'm like, okay, and that's a very real concept. It's like there's a lot of really strong science in The Martian. It's like, wow, we're just gonna ignore that exists because everything's dying here, but we don't need engineers, just farmers, please. It's like
so The Martian basically breaks Interstellar.
Yeah,
it
kind of does. It kind of does.
Y'all are blowing my mind right now. Got me thinking about the actual movie,
dude.
Man. I'm getting upset.
You weren't thinking about it before? What?
Yeah,
because I've always just watched it, understood it, and enjoyed it. Never like watched it and gone, hold on, what? Why the fuck did?
No, that's what happened to me for years. And then
have you ever seen Contact?
Yeah,
this is basically Contact but convoluted.
Yeah, lacking contact, one could
much
say.
more convoluted. Yeah, so Murph gets suspended for 2 weeks from school. He's like, and you notice he doesn't even give a shit. He's like, the hell with it. And then
it's a little funny to me that she cared that she got suspended when she was kind of defending his honor in a way. And I was like, I thought it's like that's kind of one of the weird things. It's like they make it seem like that wouldn't be like kind of, father-daughter moment. Like, I got you suspended. She's like, you did? He's like, hey, I appreciate what you did and everything. It's like that should be a nice little moment between them. And it's 100%. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So they have this weird anomaly where all the machines are like kind of going towards their house and they don't know what the hell's going on, which foreshadow, we know what it is later. Gravity. Okay. Gravity and love saves everything. Yeah, so that this kind of it says, this is where she's explaining the whole Morse code thing, and it's funny because it's not explainable at all. And look at his face there; he's like, "What the hell's happening?" And you wonder if he doesn't believe her, but he knows that some weird shit's happening. But look at her face here; he just dismisses it, and she's like, "Fuck you, Dad! I'm not saving anybody. Fuck your watch you're gonna give me later."
It's not all right.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where
basically like they were having like a lot of like mechanical failure.
Right.
It's kind of they're like the movie's presenting. Well, this is the source of where it's coming from, and can't really explain it. But
I do like this.
Year is this? Sorry.
No, go ahead, Vex. Sorry, my bad.
2069.
2069. Okay, gotcha.
I want to say the movie's kind of. Yeah, I want to say the movie never says explicitly. It's kind of ambiguous.
Right.
Yeah, it's up in the
air. Because I'm looking at like he's using like a 2014 ThinkPad to pilot that drone, and they've got like the 2008 Ram truck. So that's why I was wondering. But it's futuristic because of some of the other things that they showcase.
Right.
I do like that he keeps his drone controller on him at all times, just in case as well.
Well, in case someone's
have you ever met someone who has a ThinkPad? They always carry their ThinkPad with them.
Really?
Like that's kind of on brand.
That is.
I live in Kentucky. We don't have ThinkPads.
John Lithgow would be here going like, back in my day we used to say skibbity riz, but
he does kind of hint that he goes, back when I was growing up, like all these new inventions are coming. He's trying to like kind of center. What the fuck is Matthew McConaughey's character's name in this again?
Cooper.
Jeez, I don't know how I forgot that. And he's trying to. So I like his character in this movie. He's very strong character. He's good. Like I said, I wish he was in the movie a little more. I get why they kind of moved on because they had to spend 3 hours in holes.
Well, I mean, I like the manner in which they present like his death, because obviously they go to that planet. And we'll get to it later, but I like the abruptness of it in a sense. And the movie's long enough as it is, so it's kind of one of those understandable sacrifices. So.
Yeah, this is where they interview the old people again. They're like, "Oh yeah, this event happened at this time, and something came over the hill," and you're like, "What the fuck are they?" There you go. So the Yankees moved to Iowa. Cool.
Well,
Welcome
okay,
the world
so
famous New York Yankees.
I guess the excuse there would be, the rest of the world is kind of like dying, so they had to consolidate where they're at. I guess that's where I always interpret
That's
it
what I'd
as.
heard. Is that that's the theory going around, basically, that they had to consolidate and basically get the best players around because so many people lost these skills, game time because of Dust Bowl and farming and whatnot. Because he even says up here, like, back in my day, I was busy farming, skibbity riz,
Right. Skibbity riz. There's
And ironically, if he said that, it would make this movie a 10 out of 10.
Oh, usually. Skibbity riz.
Back in my day,
You wouldn't be able to hear it though. It'd be like,
Yeah.
It'd be too much,
this is where
too
he
much
tells
piano.
Did you just say skibbity?
This is where he tells his son, basically, you're retarded and you're going to be a farmer. Zach, I like what you do, Dad. Okay, cool. Okay, son. And then the Dust Bowl comes.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, that's the only thing. I'm not sure if you can actually see where the other team, because the Yankees were the visiting team there. It said they were welcoming the world.
Yeah, you can
famous
see
New
it.
York Yankees.
It's on one of the signs on the edge of the playing field. Yeah, right there.
Well, that's a welcome to the Yankees. That means they're not the home team.
I don't know.
Like,
Actually, that's a good point.
I think that looks more of like an invitation. Like,
yeah.
Oh, welcome the Yankees. Like maybe they're not actually playing a professional team, which that stadium's not professional, obviously.
He is right though.
Can I just point out? No wonder humanity is dying. Like, there's no way it took them this long to see a dust storm. Creeping up behind them. Like,
Okay, it actually says, according to Google, Interstellar. Well, it says it's filmed in Colorado, so that doesn't necessarily mean it takes place.
Okay.
Well, no, I take it back. It's filmed in Canada. But it does take place in Colorado.
Fucking Canada, man.
Canada.
It's cheap.
Oh wait, they're
that is true.
The
They
Rockies.
can track,
Playing for Colorado.
storm clouds, but they can't track sandstorms.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
mean,
power of the Sug Zone, baby.
You say that like sandstorms need like wind or something to move.
Yeah. Like they cover up and they get in the house, and of course she forgot to close her window, right? So destiny, right? Because
This whole movie was propaganda to get us prepared for masking up. That's what it is.
That's what it was. Dude, you're right.
Really? I thought it was to prepare us for all of the female STEM hires that didn't.
Well, dual purpose.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we hate sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
It's coarse. It gets everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. So he sees this weird anomaly with the
Arrakis.
sand.
Wait,
Oh, it's foreshadowing too. There you go.
Oh,
Spice
Paul
melange.
Atreides is in this, and there's sandstorms.
You will
Earth
be
is Arrakis.
very important one day.
It was foretold.
Origin. Yeah, at the end, he's like, they were picking Murph. It's like, no, they were picking Paul Atreides. You're all
He
wrong.
accidentally went into an interdimensional black hole, ended up on Arrakis. That's what happened.
Oh, that's right.
Well, that's
Okay,
true.
so
I'd watch that movie.
Yeah. So this part
It's
in
not a
this,
ghost.
and again, I'm not going to be too hard on this movie because a lot of time travel movies do this, but this is one trope I see in almost every time travel movie where they create what's ultimately an impossible loop where something from because he's not going to find NASA if not for this moment in the film, which he's sending the message to himself. That's not possible. The Terminator does this also with Kyle Reese being John Connor's father. That actually makes zero logical sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
I really get annoyed when movies do this because it's like you can't really because that makes the future your starting point. That's silly. That's really freaking silly.
Well, yeah, this is the problem with time travel films is there's always going to be that paradox, especially if they're intertwining. Yeah. If you want a good film that does time travel well, I'd recommend Predestination.
I've heard that's really good.
That's actually a really slept on movie.
Good.
Yeah, I've heard that one's really good.
It is good. It's binary. So they get up and he's eating cornbread. What a shock. And then
if it's binary, we can't have it.
No, sorry.
Oh, Dad, Grandpa's binary.
Yeah, Grandpa's going to be back. So if you get killed by a dust storm, it's cool though. Grandpa will be back in a few hours. So he's going to go find out where these coordinates are, and of course she hides in the car. How adorable.
Grandpa's like, back in my day, it was called non-binary.
I'm not. Yeah, God damn it! How dare you give away my secrets? I told you that in confidence. God damn it!
Now, if he was binary, he'd be called Cannoli Sisquatch.
You're all comedians. God damn it! I love you all. Sometimes. No, we don't want to play the movie. Doesn't support high definition.
Your browser doesn't support high definition, you dumbass. You're full.
This little maneuver is going to cost my stream 50. Yeah, so they're just traveling and driving. Yeah, so this is where they come up on the NASA site. That's this is where he gets graped by a robot. Yeah, so he finds the site. And then, everybody wakes up. So he tries to get in by breaking in, and then the robot. I don't know which robot is. Is it Tars?
It's Tars. It's Tars. Yeah,
the best character in the movie.
Tars.
Absolutely. I love that he shocks him, and then he just approaches the door. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid.
I may or may not have just killed your father. Do not be afraid.
He just prodded my dad's ass.
He's the most consistent character throughout the entire film.
Yeah, and then the car just creepily, the truck creepily just drives forward.
Yeah, who's driving that truck, by the way?
Cars.
Okay, so I just realized that. Okay, that sign on the fence is telling us. Okay, so this is NORAD. So yeah, that would be Colorado. So yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Tars is driving the truck.
Yeah,
it was Bill Court.
What's he doing to the daughter to keep her quiet the whole time? Like, what is he doing?
Oh yeah, that's true. How did he get her out of there too?
He probably played one of the YouTube Kid animations.
Yeah, he's like, listen, Murph, watch this.
Now y'all got me thinking about the movie. Like, so when he was driving, was he horizontal like a dog and had the front two legs?
I don't know.
And
He's
then
huge.
steering it with another arm. Like, how was he driving it? Or did a Marine come and drive it? Oh,
yeah,
not
I think
a Marine.
a scientist,
like an astronaut or something.
Maybe.
Come in from there. Yeah.
Marines don't exist anymore. That's another thing about this. I'm like, guys, if you think that if food is scarce, there's going to suddenly be no war, you don't know humanity very well.
Yeah,
there would
no
be
more
so
armies.
much freaking war if food got scarce, y'all.
Oh, here's my favorite character of the whole movie.
Karen.
I could look at her all day.
Well,
Really? She's literally the reason why the mission fails and 2 people die.
You're right.
Katie's thinking about a different mission.
I'm trying to repopulate the Earth.
Yeah, I was gonna say fuck their plan B. I'm gonna repopulate with
He
her.
likes some crazy. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, this is Plan D right here.
I mean, she's nice looking, but I don't like the haircut in this one.
I don't like this on her either.
Plus, I'm sorry, Anne Hathaway. I have a hard time buying her as a scientist. I mean, she's not quite like Denise Richards in one of the Bond films playing. She's not that bad, but she's not.
The problem I find with Anne Hathaway is that you can always tell she's acting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nothing naturalistic about her performance.
Yeah, Dax. There's some problems.
That
with
is
the
a
script.
great point.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of yeah. So this is where he gets now. Like he's an so he sees all the people on the wall. I would assume if he's an engineer and worked for NASA, wouldn't he know all those people on the wall behind?
Well,
like,
he knows Professor Brandt. Yeah, he knows Professor Brandt, but he doesn't recognize him at first, anyways, until he's like, "Oh, I'm Professor Brandt," and then suddenly it all clicks.
Well, it has been like
a
how
long
long
time.
did they say? It's been like over a decade or something, right?
Well, and also, it's probably not. Yeah, it's definitely not all the same people, but also, did he ever directly work for NASA? I don't remember.
He was a test pilot.
He was a test pilot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he wouldn't necessarily know like all the higher ups. NASA has a ton of employees. So.
But it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Niat.
No, I was just going to say they tend to compartmentalize things like that. If you're a test pilot, you're not going to know about other operations.
That's true.
I was also going to say it's alluded to in his dialogue with Brandt when he wakes up that he worked under her father directly for some time.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I knew a professor, but yeah, so I would have laughed if he came in here and he saw Professor Ben. Like, your daughter's kind of a bitch. And she's a bitch for like no reason to him.
She's a bitch for love, bro. Love conquers all.
she didn't get that Edmund's dick in years, so she's pissed off. Oh god, she is hateable in this fucking movie.
Did anybody else realize that every time they like talk about the astronauts and stuff, they never show Dr. Man?
Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to hide who Private Ryan is.
Did Ransom just call us Star Wars? I love you, Ransom. I get what you're doing. I like how he's like, I want some assurances that we can leave and not in the back of some truck. And they all start laughing at him. And they're like, do you know who we are?
I thought this moment was odd because they begin by saying, nobody stumbles in here, nobody stumbles out. That's a threat, right?
Yeah.
And then he covers his daughter's ears and he's like, I need assurances. And they all start laughing. It's like, you just threatened him. Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's so funny, right? It's
They're
so
like,
weird.
well, we didn't necessarily mean like that. I mean, we just meant we won't let you leave.
Thank you, DJ Play Nice. Appreciate you, buddy.
Y'all
Yeah.
are ruining one of my favorite movies.
No. Well, yeah, that's what we do.
Well, Kata, I like this film still, but I can
You
see
still like
I can
it.
like a
Saw
film
the
and still
flaws.
see
We
flaws.
said it
still
before.
Well, this
We
is
can
a
watch
different kind of analyzation. Now I'm looking at it like, wait a minute, this is kind of retarded.
Bro.
Look, just think of it. Just think of it as that nice last piece of corn, but there's just a lot of dust on it.
There's a lot of dust. You gotta blow off the dust. Bro, you should
Corn
have
comes
seen
back,
me.
baby.
You should have seen me watching it this over the last week. Before I was like, wow, what the hell is happening to my? I was doing the same thing you were, kid. I was like, why do I like this movie if it's so stupid? And then we all discussed it. I'm like, I still like it, but it flaws.
We're getting close to a scene which starts to explain what people see in this, and we'll get to here in a few minutes. But it's just a lot of the lead up to it. Is like
go.
if you're actually thinking about it, it's like, this is a little weird.
Yeah, this is where he leads him out and kind of shows him, like he tells him he's NASA, what they kind of plan to do, and then they're talking about all the food that's dying and how corn.
Okay,
is
yeah.
next.
By the way, so here's the other funny. So this whole project is hidden. They're like, well, we've been keeping this all hidden because people wouldn't, public opinion would not accept starving people sending their tax dollars to our projects, and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's all fine and good, but you all have launched several missions, which means everyone. It's like you're telling me nobody has noticed several space launches coming from there.
Oh, well, hold on. Wasn't
NASA
NASA killing people? Didn't they say they were actually literally killing people to save food?
But it's like you launched rockets. People notice that. It's like that's difficult to miss.
What's also ironic is that they say that public perception won't allow us to spend money on this. And so, well, no shit. When you tell people that the moon landings were fake and that the previous century was filled with excesses, of course that's going to happen. That's your doing.
Yeah, it's like a self-caused problem here that I don't understand why they made it like that. Like, it does not have to be secret.
Yeah, and so he's basically telling him that corn's going to run out soon, which is a big fucking sticking point because somehow the corn lasts almost 2.5 decades after this.
Everybody is only eating corn.
It's it. It's the only thing that's sustainable and can be grown at this point. But the dust is killing the corn, but yet the corn lasts 23 more. Listen, I have no fucking.
Well, go get more corn, man. There you go.
Give it credit. They weren't just eating corn. They were eating other things before the corn, and all that stuff started dying out, and that's how they got to the corn.
They still had okra recently,
Yeah,
here.
Thank God that died out.
And here he's like, you can't digest corn, Mr. Brand.
Oh yeah, that's something to to ponder over. Is what did their number twos look like with all that corn?
Freaking Monsanto's taking over the entire world. That's all this was. That's all this was. He's making jet fuel too.
They explained the whole thing with did they explain yet about the whole galaxy thing and the mission? That cut's coming up, right?
That's after this.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. So he basically tells him here, like, if you want me to tell you more, you have to agree. Even though secretly I know you're going to die in space, I'm not going to tell you that for 23 years. But hey,
You know what's crazy is like this guy so Michael Caine and his team or whatever didn't even know that Cooper was alive this whole time or what Cooper was up to. Yeah, right. And randomly Cooper just breaks into this facility and they see him and they're like, oh, well, you have to fly this plane into outer space. What was the plan before?
Yeah. It's preposterous.
I'll do another defense for the film. They did say they were going to go anyway without him. So I
True.
guess
No, but it's
it's that
true.
they
But he's
Oh.
right there. I mean, he's right freaking there.
Vex,
It's
this
on
could have
their
been fixed with
doorstep.
one line. All they needed to say is, "We have 3 potential pilots, but none of them have the experience that you do."
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
One line.
Easy dialogue
Because,
fix.
Otherwise, because there's no transition like that, it just seems like they had this whole plan that they just fucking flushed down the toilet because Cooper's here now all of a sudden. It sounds silly without that.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
It is
Sorry to
silly because especially because
bash this movie more, but they didn't go look and to see if this guy was still alive. That was our best pilot. Let's go find
He
him.
just lived a couple miles
Data,
away.
Data. This is what happens on MMM, baby.
No, because now I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, what the fuck? So y'all were just gonna go through with it, and like you have this excellent pilot out there that y'all never bothered to contact at all.
We just
Wait, actually, now that I think about it, the prologue doesn't make any more sense at all, because in the prologue we see him like crashing. Like it shows us that he's not a good pilot. Although later I think it's explained that the autopilot took over. I think that's
this is the problem too, though, because they're
He got,
trying to.
hey, he got better.
Yeah, but they're trying to say here in this scene, I think, is where he said there was an anomaly that tripped his byline in his fucking ship, so that's why it crashed, and they didn't know what it was. So they're like, this is what I mean about this movie. They do these little stupid hints out. And first of all, you can't fucking hear what anybody's saying because the sound mixing is terrible. But like he's trying to say this anomaly with this wormhole that might have caused it. But it's a real quick line. He goes, "Oh yeah, some anomaly fucked up my ship when I crashed, and nobody could figure it out." So then they're saying, "Well, was it this then?" Like, and they just leave it. There's no explanation. It's like, what the? So why show the beginning? I mean, again, you want to show he's a pilot, fine. You want to set that so you know why they're going at, like, why they want him to take this mission on. But where is the exposition? Explain. This might have caused his actual ship. Like, go into a little more detail here.
Well, they don't have enough engineers for that.
Yeah,
big corn, baby. Big corn wins again.
I got a fucking corn, but they can't explain anything. It's like this.
So here's another thing, right? Like, so this wormhole appeared 48 years ago, right? And nobody on Earth has seen it. I've got a basic telescope that I use at night when the sky is clear, and I can see Saturn.
So, like, it's that little wavy thing in there. Saturn.
It's the one with the rings on. It's like,
and then this is the thing where Vex was bringing up a point where they hint at, like, somebody put this thing there, and you at first you're like, oh, was it aliens? Like, is there some other? Like, is there some beings in another dimension that created this to help human beings? It just doesn't.
I honestly wish that it was aliens because the actual is so stupid.
Yeah. That's
the actual
one part of this
explanation's
film
awful.
where I
it's kind of plot breaking, really.
Yeah, where it's like,
wait a time ago, I was in Burma.
And I left the wormhole the size of a tangerine.
Ruby size of football.
And to the point that we were making about the time travel paradox, it's, as we get later into the film, it's explained that humans, or what evolved from humans, that were able to sort of perceive the fifth dimension, are the ones who placed the wormhole there, which is another paradox that's unnecessarily laid on top of this.
Agreed. Yep.
It's
that part blew me because it's like, why not? If you would have said it was aliens, I could have digested that better. But saying it was human, so it's like, wait, so it really is a paradox. Like, I mean, it's just like a closed loop that we're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Better digestible as the corn, baby.
You beat me by a second, Vex.
Kata, you might want to rephrase, Kata.
Okay. You know what?
That's what you said.
We know you like this movie, but shit.
Can't keep him away from the border.
Oh shit. So they talks about how they sent all these people in there, and basically nobody really survived, but there's like 3 possible planets that they found. I think there's only one that's actually sending information back, and that's Dr. Mann,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's just like there's 3 planets in that general vicinity, which is why they go and explore the other ones.
Right.
2 small ends for man.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course there's her being a bitch again. No, you're still shut up, bitch.
There's like Brant could have been a much better character if she were just far more consistent with a lot of her moral standpoints. Like later on in the film, she justifies their entire return mission off of this dude that gave her dick one time. But then later, she's talking about, like, we can't send the robot into an unknown dimension. Why does it have to be the robot? So there's like a lack of consistency that makes her a compelling or even likable character, I find.
She's a bitch. Yeah, you're right. And then by the end, when you're supposed to feel something for her, I'm just like, why couldn't her thing crash going into the planet?
Yeah, him going back for her, I'm like, no.
Why?
No, we're not going back.
Well, okay, so I did go and read a summary because even I was confused after watching this again. So Murph tells him to go back because Murph has really only found a temporary solution for mankind. Brant has found what will be the next settlement, like the next planet.
Yeah.
So that's why they need to go find her.
Yeah. Oh no, I know that. I was mostly being cheeky about it. It's just the fact that it's like because it's the way because they frame it as they frame it at the end with the dialogue as go find Brant, and I was like, no, maybe you should just say go to the new world. That's where she is. But who cares about that?
That would make more sense because the way that Murph frames it at the very end, especially given what we find out is the big thing that saves the universe. It makes it seem like there's supposed to be some sort of like alluded romantic connection there. When it just could have been like Brant's waiting on our new planet. You have to go find her.
Yeah, yeah. Look at Michael Caine. He's like, I can't believe this fucking bitch is my daughter. And he's like, tell me about it. No,
he's looking directly into the camera as if he's telling Christopher Nolan. Can you just recast this bitch?
And wait a minute. How come she didn't grow up with an accent? I mean, her father has one.
Well, it's
just different generation. He's over there like she's a real bitch, no cap, and
but
British accents are like
zero fucking cap.
So this whole plan A, plan B thing, he's like, plan A is if we do get this whole thing they're in is basically a space station. So that they'll take it and gravity will get it up in the air and love and then plan B is this whole colonization thing where they basically have sperm fucking sitting in a thing and they can create life on the next planet. And then he lies to him here and basically says, I'd love to meet the person in the NASA program who was responsible for that part of the mission. Right. He's like, hello, me.
So I'm about to be splooging out into the nether.
My jizz going to be flying over
these people. Are they supposed to grow the new people?
Wait, listen, we don't even know how the fuck they get there. That makes any sense.
They do explain it. So they say they have 10 incubators for the first 10 babies, and then they're going to use surrogacy for the other 5,000 samples.
The way that the canon that I wrote in my head is that really this is just a tie-in to the Prometheus trilogy. There you go. This is where the engineers come in. Okay,
it probably would fit better than with aliens.
So obviously he agrees to go because Murph goes storming into her room and whatever. She locks him out, and then again, it's a good. I think this is a good moment because
you're right. This is the upcoming scene here is actually one of the really good scenes. But I think one of the worst choices in this movie was they basically cut from him being told about the mission to them going.
Yeah,
there's no real. And what the weird thing is like you would assume in your head that they had to do like a lot because space missions take gobs of training to do beforehand.
Not in the future.
Even if you're a person who has been to space before, you have to re-up your training for a long time to go up into space because it's extremely dangerous. There's so much that can go wrong, and that's still evident in this film. But it basically cuts them to going, and the way the astronauts behave in this, you almost get the sense that they are improvising the whole time. It's like, did they not plan this at all?
They don't got time for this, Murph. They gotta go.
Murph.
They base all their plans off of corn. Like they named the ship Husk. They call space the field. Rose are out there. Yeah, everything is just based. They really should have leaned more into the corn. I feel like. I feel like it would have helped explain.
Children of the corn. Yeah.
And part of the reason I kind of do think that they probably didn't do a whole lot of training is because he's like, you got to make things right with Murph. And I was like, so the suggestion here is that him leaving is
He's gone.
incredibly abrupt, not
Yeah,
over the
within
course of several
days.
months of training, which I'm like, that is freaking nonsense.
Well,
yeah, the
that's almost
indication you
nonsense.
get is that he leaves literally 2 or 3 days after they
Like,
tell
really
him about
bad.
the mission, which is insane. Yeah.
It's
And that
insane.
conversation he has with his father-in-law outside, basically the father's like, listen, I know why you got to go. You feel like you were kind of cheated out of your, your real life's mission and shit. And he's like, but
Yeah.
he's like, you're
Make sure
basically
you're
like,
going for the right reasons.
yeah,
and
like your
make
son.
right with
He's
her.
like, and he's like, your son's a retard. He'll be okay. But,
But this-
Everything
like-
happens so.
it does fit.
Go ahead.
Murph. You gotta
But
make
in
it right with
in
her.
isolation, this scene, dialogue, acting
It's great.
is really
great.
good.
Oh.
It's
Really
really
good.
good. It's like this one hits you in the feels pretty hard. It's like it's
This-
hard not to put yourself in a scenario like this and be like, yeah, this.
No,
one,
no,
this
I
one
agree
tugs
because
at
I
heartstrings.
have a
Right.
daughter and I was like, if I was the one having to say this to her, like I put myself in his shoes, definitely. And then even the lines he says, like your mom used to say that we were just memories for our kids. I was like, oh, that's fucking haunting. Like,
Yeah.
we're
It
just-
made me
Great line.
miss kids that I don't have. Like that's
Yeah,
how
well,
good that-
exactly. No, it's great. And what does she say? Like, we're just ghosts for our children's future. I was like, oh my god.
Well, in
It's like-
in the moment she realizes, like, you don't know, it's like you don't even know when you're coming back. Like that realization, and then him just being like, oh no, we're gonna leave on bad terms. It's like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
all of that is really effective. It's just how we got here is
Yeah.
not good.
And then he almost makes it right because he's getting hurt. Like he's like, I have a watch and let's let's compare times because times he's trying to explain to her about because he even hints later on he couldn't explain Einstein's relativity theories, but he's trying to tell her here, listen, time's gonna move slower for me. So and then of course he fucks it up. He's like, oh, we could be the same age when I get back, and she's like, you son of a bitch.
He like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's not. And that's so weird because it doesn't mesh with his dialogue later. He tells Brand that I couldn't tell my daughter that they were like basically we're going to save the world, like you might all die. It's like I couldn't tell her that. It's like, yes, you could have.
Yeah,
you should have told her that. Hey,
Yeah.
you're making it seem like, oh, we're just going to the space because we got to go into space. We gotta do
Yeah,
some
and
stuff.
and it's like, well, this dust is trying
I'm
to
gonna
kill you.
Go get
there's
it. I'm gonna go get some milk and cigarettes. I'll be back.
hey, I'm sorry, baby girl. Cats in the cradle. We always.
And
dust
she's
in the
not
wind,
stupid. She's not stupid, so she could see through his bullshit.
No, again, kudos to the girl, especially here. Her acting,
She was
excellent
good.
in this scene.
Yeah.
she's
And then she-
really
and then
good
she-
in this.
Boy, yeah.
And then she
Pulls
even
at the
tells
heartstrings
him,
for real.
no,
Yeah.
really, and she even tells him the message from the books. It's Morse code. It's whatever. It's code. It means stay. And then little foreshadowing for later. But yeah, and then he doesn't. And then as he's leaving, the books fall. And you got to be telling yourself at some point, like, what the fuck is going on now? Because like the books are falling. She's getting messages that say stay. Is she like he thought maybe she was doing it herself at some point, but then he actually sees the book fall. And it's
Yeah,
like, is he just thinking it's a gravity thing? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying.
To your
Don't
point,
let me leave you
considering
like this, Murph.
considering the gravitation anomalies were the reason that he found NASA, and
Right.
she's just told him that she's deciphered the code,
The
and it
message.
says stay, and the book has fallen. Does anybody
Right.
else think that, knowing his character, he would have just gone through the book and tried to figure out what was really happening?
That's what I'm
before
saying.
leaving?
Because he
Right.
even tells her
I
at the
mean,
beginning of the
at
movie,
this-
like, if you want to do
At this
something.
stage of things. So,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say at the very beginning when he was kind of dismissing her ghost theory, and the grandfather was like, "Listen to her," and he's like, "All right, present your conclusions. Like, give me facts." It's like for a guy who's a scientist, he's just He's doing exactly what he's like. He's just dismissing it completely, and he's telling her the opposite.
I think the problem with this is more just the timing is a kind of a contrived inconvenience, because if it really were to happen this particular way just before he's supposed to leave, yes, I do think he would have to dismiss it. 'Cause he's
fair
like,
enough.
I can either take this whim and delay this mission to save
Or go
us all,
save humanity.
or you do this.
Yeah.
Plus the funny thing is, like, of course, he would have been wrong to stay. He would have doomed them all to death, pretty much. But
Right.
at the same time, it's because that's part of the reason why
it's
it's such a bad decision to make all this happen so abruptly. It doesn't make any sense, for one thing,
Right.
but second,
Yeah.
it's like you are throwing all of this at the audience at the last
Fast.
second just to tug on their heartstrings. It's
Yeah.
very artificial the way it's done. It's not good. Yeah, but you're basically telling us Cooper doesn't appreciate the gravity of the situation.
Damn.
Right. And then And then you get another emotional scene here, which you feel bad for the kid. You really do.
Yeah, her acting is what sells the scene. Her acting's
it's
excellent.
so
Even him
good.
here, him crying is it's
Yeah.
like, this is
he
what
looks
I
under the
think
blanket
pulls-
and he
pulls people in. The acting in this scene, I think, is that first moment which really grabs you, and you're like, oh gosh, this one really hit me hard.
Yeah.
You'll let me leave like this, Murph.
Oh, Nia, you beautiful.
Don't let me leave like this, Murph.
Look at you.
Uh-huh.
You know what? God, I'm trying to think of a good one I can give you here. God damn, there's so here. You know what, Nia? This is because I love you, man.
Darling, 'tis the Dandy Fairy, and I'm here to tell you if you're watching this, then you're gay now.
Playing that right after 8. Absolutely insane.
God. Yeah.
He might take his money back. You need to hold him.
Sorry. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
We need the money. We need the money.
Yeah, we need the money. And then there's a random black guy in here. Kata, do you feel represented when you saw this? Did you?
Sure.
Sure.
Hey, at least he doesn't die first.
Sure.
That's true.
When did this come out? 2014.
2014.
I was how old? Shit, how old was I?
Like,
I was 18
current
years
age minus
old.
10 years. Yeah.
Yes, I was 18 years old. Yeah.
There you go. He saw himself.
So represented.
Finally, we're in space, baby.
Yeah, smart black man in space. That was great.
This image, he needed a cigarette in his mouth for this image.
Oh yeah. all right.
In the helmet.
Pass
and
graph.
Oh,
like
if
how
the
we-
ship had like Lincoln on the side. Ooh, that'd be
Dude.
Corn and
I know,
marijuana,
God, he had
all
a
the crap
Saturn.
we have left.
I like how he's
Smoke
talking to Tars about like Tars's sense of humor. It's like
Humor
a
setting, yeah.
Humor setting, yeah. He's like, it's at 100%. He goes, 100%. Let's
I
drop
thought I'd
that down
take
to
that down to
75. Oh god. And then you could tell. Oh, this part here again. This is where Bran's got to be a bitch. And she's just like, oh, we don't really have to talk to each other. I'm just being honest. This fucking stupid bitch, man. She was
If
so
they had just
hateable.
talked, he would have known that this bitch just likes crazy dick, and she's a liability.
Yeah. Little does he
Another
know.
important. Sorry, Canola, go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
Another really critical, important moment here is when Tars reveals that their honesty setting is at, I think, 90%, and because you can't give the truth to emotional beings. When I saw that, I don't know, for some reason I was thinking of like 2001: A Space Odyssey,
100%.
and for a second I was thinking that Tars was going to be like the villain of the film.
Gosh, that would have been so much
I
better.
thought about that a little bit too when I saw that. I was like, he might try to screw them over here in the end because they might try to make a decision. He'll say that's illogical.
Yeah.
Because later you get the moment where Murphy sends the video clip confirming that Dr. Brand had lied to them all, and he's the one that sees it, and you're like, oh shit, he's going to hide this from them. But he doesn't. Like, he just he shows
This
them the
goes
video.
on. Yeah, he saves
I
them
love
later
the
on.
design for the spaceships.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it looks
design's
great.
awesome.
Design's great.
On
The
a technical level, the film is
fantastic.
just phenomenal. It's 10 out
Yeah.
of 10 as far as
And you
the
could
special
see
effects.
his inspirations from two. He even said 2001 was his big, like one of his favorite movies. He always wanted to make something similar, and you could see it in these scenes, especially with the space station and spinning and all. Like you said, it's just where he has that low
You
spin.
can't hear it though because of that big
Spinning.
ass orchestra in the background.
yeah.
When they're spinning and heading to the wormhole and flying through it, that's probably the
It's
best
fantastic.
mix of
it's
musical
great.
score by Hans Zimmer and sound design.
It's
I think
fantastic.
That's one of the best scenes in media. Period. It's great.
It's good. No, it's good. Like you said, there's a lot
it's
of
where
good.
it's where his ambition is paying. Like there's plenty of scenes in this where his ambition works, but it's just
Not for
this is
everything.
why I feel like this movie needed more time to marinate, is because some of the ideas need some ironing out, but the characters really needed work.
Mhm.
Like I think he was just he knew he had a good idea and he didn't flesh out characters that fit this at all.
Dude, I had a friend of
You just
mine.
made a great point. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Katie. Go ahead, buddy.
I was gonna say he just made a great point that now I understand why I love this film so much. I really do love the idea of this film.
Sure.
I
And there's a
like
lot
it.
of
Really good.
we all have movies that we love for those reasons because like they may not execute, what they're going for.
Lethal Weapon 2.
Well. yeah.
Jumper.
That's kind of a great example. Is Lethal Weapon 2 has a lot of examples of good chemistry between the two leads, some really cool ideas about some of the villains and whatnot. It's just the execution is way freaking off.
What this film does nail, and I
Jumper.
think like Cater, why I like this film is that it shows how insignificant we are in the cosmos, how tiny we are.
100%. Yeah, I agree with that. So, thank you. See, I heard it myself. I don't know.
You are fake news.
Shut up. So this is where Michael Caine's he's repeating that line that he says 14 times during the movie.
Okay, so this is not the fault of the movie, but this movie accidentally ruined that poem because I swear every other YouTube short for the first 2 years of YouTube shorts that I saw kept playing something with that poem and this music over it, and I got so freaking sick of it. This poem is so profound, man. It's shut up, okay? It's overdone. It's a nice, it's so freaking overdone. It's not the movie's fault. It's
it's overdone.
Crap. People just started using it for everything. Guy misses a last second shot. Rage against the It's that has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, this is where they basically have to go into hype.
So.
Yeah, that's what it looked. Well, slapped her. Or she's doing something. I don't know. She's thinking of Edmonds right here.
Her dog got stung by a bee.
So this is where they're taking their pills and they're everybody's going into because they're going to Saturn at this point, right?
Mm-hmm. They're doing the spinning and the
so they're going to be sleeping for a long time. So they're explaining, they're explaining to each other about where they're going and how he's Earth is great. You're never going to find another planet like this. It was a perfect place, and we fucked that up. Blah, 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 blah. So this is the part here, and I'm trying to figure this out. Maybe I missed something. So she's talking about each planet and how Dr. Mann was the best of them, and this. And when she gets to Edmonds, maybe it's me. To me, there was no body language or signal to give to him that says that she was in love with him, but he just picked it up immediately.
There is a little bit of.
Is it a look?
She's trying to put on a poker face, but there is a little bit of a
tell.
Okay. Yeah, it's I picked that up. I was like, okay, Edmonds, there's a little bit of a difference there. Now, granted, do I think he perceives a little too much too quickly? Yes.
Okay. So all right. So my tism flared a little bit.
We're gonna get a good comedy bit though after this because of that.
But you're sort of right, Cannoli, because the indication that you get is that she's actually in love with Dr. Mann because
she's praising him more.
More overt.
Yeah,
I could see that. I could see how you could misinterpret that.
Yeah, but whatever. 14 months to Saturn. Imagine sleeping in ice cold water for 14. Well, I know you're passed out, but I like how he's like, "Why are you whispering?"
Yeah,
that part was funny. Yeah,
Brandon Edmonds. Why are you whispering?
Was Edmonds giving her the hot salami? What are you whispering for?
I also have a discretion setting. He's like, "Ha, nailed you,
gotcha." Okay, this is where they wake up, and they're getting messages from home. And again, this looks fucking phenomenal. I'm watching this on 4K Dolby Vision, and it just looks amazing. The sound on a good surround sound system. I can't hear what the fuck they're saying, but the sound, the music.
You're watching people eat corn and do a space cold plunge in 4K. God,
Murph.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Murph.
Wait a minute. There is another allusion to corn. Nolan's main character in Inception's name is Cobb. Oh my god! It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all Interstellar.
It's all connected. Yeah, Murph is still pissed off. So Michael Caine's character brings back messages in the truck because the truck belongs to the sun now. And I like his Lithgow's line here. He's like, she's making fools of her teachers, and she might as well make a fool of you too, because she's smarter than everybody.
That's all.
It's a good line. It's a good line.
I love this. Get off my hands.
Yeah, I'll be dead soon, motherfucker. You can have her.
Making me look stupid.
Guess
please
be stuck here with Corn Boy.
Yep. And there we go. Beautiful images of Saturn. So they're going near Saturn, of course, getting closer to the. Again, this is all very 2001 here. You can tell.
Mm-hmm. Like this is what I mean about that previous shot cannoli to show how fucking tiny we are compared to space. And I feel like if this was any other filmmaker, they would have enlarged this ship.
Yes,
Nolan's going for that particular point.
Scale, it's unbelievable. You're right. It looks great.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's jacking it right now.
Well, he does that. Well, he smells his own farts. So
yeah, true.
No, he's so egotistical that I think he was criticizing Rip Thorne, the theoretical physicist that worked on this film. It's like, oh no, they got a lot of things wrong. It's like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah. I woke up this morning and I opened my eyes and I realized, yes, I'm alive, but I'm better than you.
Now, Gord, you had a problem with this scene, right? Or no, there was a joke that you were gonna. What he tell? Oh, I liked it.
I'm trying to remember what the. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm trying to think of what they were talking.
No.
About.
So
you're talking about the ship and how much.
Yeah. So
space
I did like this for a second because it does explain, like, even though they're doing this for mankind, it is kind of scary that you're in the middle of space and there's literally in a second the ship comes apart and it's over. Like, you're just gone. There's nothing out there, just infinite space. So he tries to tell him how yachtsmen, like the best yachtsmen, don't know how to swim. Yeah,
he basically gives him an analogy of how there's yachtsmen. There's actually lots of people who are yachtsmen who can't swim. And I was like, dude, you're talking to a black guy. This is not. This is not.
Wow.
Wow.
But it's a little weird that he needs to tell this guy this when he's works for NASA.
Yeah, but Romilly's never been into space, unlike Cooper, who's had a bit more experience, which is why he came with the headphones as well.
Oh, man. This shot and scene with the thunder in the background is great.
Beautiful shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then they explain how a wormhole works. And again,
which I hated that. I'm like, he doesn't know how a freaking wormhole works.
I know.
The folding of space.
There's like a lot of laymen who know how wormholes work.
Yeah.
Right.
Watch Stargate. Okay, just watch Stargate.
And I like how
this is just purely. No, go ahead, Connell.
No, go ahead, Nia. Go ahead, bud. My bad.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of the problems with this film is that they know that a lot of these concepts aren't accessible for general mainstream audiences, and so they have a lot of exposition where they're explaining these heady concepts, and it does get in the way.
Yeah, give me this piece of paper.
It's like Nolan, trust your audience. Trust your audience a little bit, just a bit. You can trust your audience a little bit because you have to. It's like people. It's like astronauts are not going to talk. Apollo 13 was a mainstream hit, and there's a lot of technical jargon in that, but it works really well. The Martian proved later you could do that too. Martian has a lot of technical jargon, but the dialogue is excellent in that, and they don't hold your hand through it the whole time.
He's going to show you how wormhole works with paper.
Well, you say don't hold your hand through it, and just let you experience it, just feel it. He did that with Tenet. I mean, he didn't tell you shit. He just said, watch the movie and tell me how you feel about it.
Listen, I
honestly, I don't know if he did or didn't because I can't hear the dialogue.
I don't know what the fuck he's saying. But at least, Nolan went a little too Nolan with Tenet. But again, I get what you're saying. Here, he's like, this is how 3 dimensions work. Sorry, Whitey, go ahead, buddy.
No, I was just gonna say he's using McConaughey as the audience basically, and we get to hear multiple analogies about basically. I didn't really care for it.
The thing is, this guy's like really smart. He knows these things. You don't need to tell him.
He would know.
Well, there are some movies where yes, you have to inform the audience a bit about what's being discussed. Tenet is a movie that needed a little more exposition because it is such a weird concept. It's not realistic. Interstellar doesn't need it as much because this stuff is things you could look this stuff up, and you should let the astronauts talk a little bit more naturally about what's going on, or at least write the dialogue to where it could be expositional, but it comes off a little more naturally. To where it has a little bit of information, but they're like, okay, audience, if you want to know more, you can look this up because this is real stuff. You can actually ask your audience to do that. That's fine. Whereas something like Inception, I think, has actually pretty solid exposition. I think the dialogue in that works pretty well for that. Tenet obviously doesn't hold your hand at all, which means they just try to get away with a whole bunch of
He literally says it at the beginning of the film. He says, "Don't try to understand it, just feel it." It's just like, feel it,
bro. Even like a deep movie like Lethal Weapon 2, they explain diplomatic immunity. And diplomatic immunity. I didn't need that. I didn't need that explained, Gord.
Well, they don't do it right.
Actually, Kate is right. Kate is
It's
right.
just
with
too deep for
Tenet.
you.
Yeah.
Like
Don't
Snyder cut.
Just feel. That's what I told Sassy on our first date. Don't just feel it, Sassy. Just
Don't try
feel
to
it.
understand it.
Don't
Just
understand
Don't
what
try
I'm
to
doing.
understand all this cannoli.
Yeah.
Just
What
feel
you
the
say when you're
cannoli.
on the toilet.
Feel it.
You don't have to understand it. Just feel it.
Yeah, you're right. But I think Niad had said this part when they go into the black hole, fantastic. I mean,
Oh yeah,
visually
beautiful.
it's beautiful, sound design's beautiful, and then of course, this is all theorized shit. But yeah, you would wonder like what the hell would happen. And then here we go, a little foreshadowing with the look, I'm touching them. It's a first hand. I wish they would have grabbed her and took her. Fucking take her back.
I like that they're telling her like you don't know what that is. Don't touch it. But it's like,
No, she's a woman though, Vex.
Woman. I can do it. I can do it.
Oh, White Bear, really? Oh.
Okay.
South Africa
Got me. Got me. I've been decaffeinated.
Here's another thing about the exposition. They didn't need to explain the wormhole and that how we perceive it as a sphere because we're about to see it.
Go
Yeah,
through it.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It did feel like he felt like the audience wouldn't know anything of what's going on. So he's like, let me just tell you verbatim what's happening.
Yeah.
I think
Now
he didn't
just-
know what was going on, so he just took words from the paper that he was giving and plugged it in the film. There you go.
Now listen, Coop. It's like when America flushes its toilet and then Australia flushes its toilet. It goes the other way. If you meet that in the middle, that is where the space-time continuum, motherfucker.
Oh God. Yeah, this is what they're talking about all the planets, and then of course they all have to one of the planets has to orbit around a freaking black hole, of course, right? So he's trying to. It's like Jesus Christ. That's Miller's planet, right? That's the one that's all water. So they're trying to explain what the time thing is here, which is crazy. What did they say? Like every hour is 7 years back on Earth because how the time slows down because of the gravity.
in the spaceship.
Yes,
I thought it was the
Yeah.
spaceship.
No. So on the planet, it's
they
7
go on to
years
the
for every
planet.
hour. So when he's on the spaceship, that's years.
Which
and years
kind of baffles me.
Right.
Well, we'll get to the point where when the wave hits them. Like it seems like they were there for 15 minutes. I don't know how that fucking spans over 23 years.
It's because when we get there, we'll go over it. But
Okay.
I'm a little confused about the whole not knowing what these planets are like. Because if this is taking place in 2069 or whatever, we've had the technology to see what kind of planets are out there for 20 years.
No, Niad said he could see it through his telescope. But
there you go, right? Even longer. I'm just like, it seems like a weird anomaly that you can't tell that this planet is just water.
Well, this planet or these planets that they're about to visit are on another galaxy, and the only way that they're able to ping information is through the wormhole, and the only information that can go through is binary code. So all they have is the atmospheric composition and minerals. And so, it's got water, it's got air. That's why they go there. They don't know.
Okay, sorry, I forgot about this was in the hole. I thought this was right outside the hole.
Lots of holes.
So.
It's right outside the
they
hole.
don't know that it has giant killer waves.
Yep.
Those are mountains.
But actually, to the point about them not knowing it has giant waves, they should have an inkling that it might because of the gravity. Because of how close it is to the black hole.
To the black hole, yeah.
Didn't we recently review a movie where they could have scanned 20 planets and the same thing happened, but it didn't?
Oh yeah, I can't.
What shit was that?
I think that was Prometheus.
Yeah.
Well, we all do.
Okay, that's the other thing too, because he goes on this whole spiel at this moment about how the black hole is so big that it will throw off the center of gravity or whatever while they're traveling. Right. So if they know that,
it's an iconic picture right there.
It's a great image.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
I love the way he interpreted something you can't see.
Right.
It's great.
And they're trying to figure out what information they can get from the black hole. And they're just nothing. The fuck.
Yo, wasn't Vex making a point?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go on.
Yeah,
Vex.
my bad.
No, okay. Much like women in space, I should not have a voice here either. So you know what? You guys
Please
are
tell
going
us.
with the canon. I'm for it. It's all good.
Please tell us more, Mrs. Stimfield.
I tell you.
I'm sorry, Vex. What were you
Actually, I think
No,
so.
you're good. You're good. No, I was just saying if they knew that the black hole threw off like the weight or the propulsion or stuff, wouldn't they know that just because you can tell the moisture reading if you have an atmospheric reading of a
I see what
planet,
you're saying. I see.
right? So it's little things that don't
Makes sense.
make
Yeah.
sense for the sake of the plot happening certain ways.
I think they assumed that when the hole was black, they were like, we don't have to worry about water, do we?
Yeah, this is a good question for you, Vex. Lord Toxic. You ever look for a brown hole?
A bonus one, yes.
Ooh.
Oh Jesus Christ!
I do like how. Sorry, go ahead.
Space does have brown dwarves, so
That's true. I like how he
There.
comes. I like how he comes down into the planet to save fuel, and he almost kills them. But it's pretty entertaining actually. Since he's a pilot, he would know. I guess this would work. I don't know. I'm not a fucking pilot or.
Well, he
engineer,
tried
but
this
yeah.
maneuver in the prologue, but the difference was the auto settings took over, and that's why he crashed. And when Tars is about to take over, he tells him, "Don't let me do this."
I gotta feel the air.
I suppose that could have been an instance where maybe the writing has failed a little bit at building up Cooper, because like that opening scene doesn't really have any foreshadowing. Right? Like it's just
One
there's
and done. Yep.
Right. You think maybe that would instill some sort of nervousness, or maybe that's why he shifted away from being a pilot, but it never comes into play at all.
So the whole
Hold up,
Hans Zimmer
Tards, I
thing
got
here-
this.
Tard. Yeah, go ahead, Jacob.
Just send the robot out. Why do you need to send them out? I mean,
look at these shots, though. Like
the robot
show
is
you-
basically built
Yeah.
for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. And then the whole clock ticking in the background.
I was about to say, I know we're going to
out of
talk
the
about
ship,
that in
but-
trivia. I didn't want to bring it up.
Okay. What I was just
But I
saying,
think
like,
it's
is it-
stuff in great detail.
I can tell you what that is. The
Yeah, go
ticking
ahead.
is just like it's supposed to represent every hour that passes on the planet.
yeah.
that's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah.
So great. That's
Yeah, like concepts like this are this is the kind of thing that draws people in. It's like, oh my gosh, every second there you're feeling it. It's like, yeah, that is really, really strong
Building up tension.
stuff to ponder.
Yeah.
It's really
Tension,
good stuff. I'd be curious if and I would end up having to go back and rewatch the movie to figure this out. It's like, I'm wondering if maybe they didn't send the robot because of the time aspect. Because basically the idea is anything that enters the gravity of this planet, the time's going to severely slow down. Anything outside of it's going to be passing, much more normal.
Right.
So I don't know if them being apart from this robot for that long creates a problem. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I like. Go ahead, Whitey. Go ahead.
the little walking robot. I don't know.
Tars?
Yeah. Like I need to see him because I think he seriously turns into the Red Hot Chili Pepper symbol.
Oh, and she's being he's telling him, like, listen, that's a wave, and she thinks it's a mountain. And I will say,
she hasn't looked back yet. I think that the thing is, like, if she saw what was approaching them, she would have run back. But throughout this whole moment, while he's yelling at her to come back, he hasn't explained that there's a
doesn't he
100-foot wave.
Doesn't he say they're not mountains, they're waves? And that's what she's like, oh shit. And then
He
she's
says
like, I
that
really
to
gotta get this
himself
data.
though, as he's witnessing it.
Correct.
He never says it out loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair
Hey,
enough.
STEM science lady, look behind you.
Yeah. I will say, on a big IMAX screen, this scene with the wave, holy shit. I mean,
To be fair,
Yeah,
if he had
the
just said,
wave is
if he had just
cool.
said, Brand, wave, she probably would have just waved at him like, okay.
okay. And then she tries to get the data. Of course, she falls because she's stupid. And then
There it is. There that shit is, man.
But to cut
Give it
Brand
away.
to cut her some slack, I know a lot of people think that she got the other scientist killed. No, that scientist got himself killed.
No, yeah,
Because
I was
while
going to say
Case-
he's stupid.
While Case is
Yeah.
picking her up, he just stands there. He doesn't run back. To
Yeah,
his
he
ship
definitely
like
could
an
have saved
idiot.
himself. It is pretty contrived how he dies. He
literally
stands there. He's like,
watching the robot
"Uh-huh."
go past him, and
Mm-hmm.
then waiting
It was-
for the robot to come back instead of going inside the ship and then waiting for the robot to
Mhm.
come back to help her get on top, like get inside the
Just
ship.
like,
It was like that
This-
scene from Austin Powers 1 with the guy standing in front of the
It's one of those things that continuously irks me about this movie is the character behavior is so odd at times. It's like this is like no pun intended, the gravity of the situation before they go to this mission.
I see what you did
this
there.
should be this should be weighing on them that holy crap, this guy's got to be left behind. He's gonna be left behind for years in his time, and we're gonna lose so much time. So it's like they touch on that, but they don't really seem to, as people, really like take a moment to be like, oh man, this is heavy stuff. And this scene, it's just like the lack of urgency they display till the last freaking second. It's like, are you all sure these people were qualified for this mission to begin with? Holy crap.
Case is like, oh, the engines are waterlogged. You got to wait. You got to give it time. And then it's like, I don't know. He just goes off on her because she's a stupid bitch. And then she even tells him this is going to cost us years because we're going to have to wait. And then, this is where the part is where you said with the daughter, like, why couldn't you just tell your daughter, you want to protect your children? And it's like,
well, the other odd thing is, like, when they actually land on the planet, you would think they would take some serious time in that ship to assess their situation, not just let's get out, let's step out and see what it's like.
Well, they're in a rush because of every second basically being like a couple of weeks. So yeah, you can sort of understand their urgency. But what really like blew my mind about this is they landed literally minutes before Miller died as well.
Yeah.
So the time dilation.
Yeah, that part is like actually really that's very cool. How the idea of like she probably in her time just got here. It's like, yeah, that's fascinating.
Look,
she's
talking about Edmund's penis here.
It can stretch and squeeze my butt.
Yeah. His whole thing is like, could we jump into a black hole? It's like, you're a like no. You can't, well, even though that's all bullshit at the end because they would be torn apart, but like, no, the theory is you can't go back in time. So she's like, like, there you go. I like peen. Because and then this is where the whole thing, like you were saying, Gord, how he's trying to explain that I couldn't tell my daughter about Einstein's theory, so she has no clue what the hell's happening.
Your daughter literally can like solve binary code. What do you mean she couldn't understand?
Right. Well, by this point, she was already learning under Dr.
the
Brand.
gender crisis.
I want your children to feel safe. Yeah, I understand the whole idea, but the world is ending, dude. Like, yeah. And plus, by this point, she's God knows how old here because of the time passing. So she's already knows about Einstein's theories by learning under Dr. Brand. So it's like, but
just to point out here, because this is like one of the first scenes that kind of does the time jump, but it's not a very well edited time jump. Because it only seems like this, because you were asking earlier, like the time jump didn't make sense. And it's like, it does seem like it's only 15 minutes that they're on here, but because the editing is so poor, you don't see all the time that they're waiting for the engines to drain out so that they can fly out of here. The other thing too is like the waves, like the timing between the waves is
very fast.
Right. It comes out of nowhere. They're able to walk around in the water, and then all of a sudden it's just like bam, bam, they're back to back.
Mm-hmm,
so I think there's some problems with just the editing quite a few times throughout this film. That's not present in the first hour. It's once they get into space, they have that issue.
For as long as the movie is, it doesn't take the time it needs in the right spots to kind of expand. It's just fucking weird.
In addition to the editing, Vex, it just goes back to having contextual dialogue that helps explain the
things.
difference in time between what we're seing. Like it's not just down to editing alone. There's a lot of missing dialogue here.
Like I will say, when I'm first watching this, and when Case or Tars gives him the time that's passed, you're like, holy shit! Like 23 fucking years, and like you do feel it in your gut for a second because you're like, oh my god, is everybody on Earth dead now?
But then you realize like the amount of time that you spent on the toilet as a guy.
Yeah.
I do like that he's so pissed off that 23 years have passed. He doesn't even acknowledge Romilly. He just goes straight to the video to see what footage is there from his kids.
So Matthew McConaughey's racist, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Or Cooper's racist. Okay.
I would have liked a little bit more time spent on. Well, I can't remember this guy's name.
Like Romilly or Romilly?
I think it's Romilly.
Rommel, yeah.
Romilly, yeah.
Romilly Sasquatch.
He says that he spent the last, I think it's like 23 years have passed for him, and he spent that time studying the black hole. I would have liked that they had spent a little bit more time going into what he had found out, because it's only sporadically dropped when the narrative gets tense enough that they're just like, oh, there was a black hole, remember? So
What do we think about this scene? Because they're trying to really hit you really give you a gut punch emotionally. Because
it works.
I think it's a
This
good
part
scene.
works really well. It's like in isolation, works excellent. It's well acted. You feel this kind of the way the time moves. The music is really good. The everything he's seeing, it's like, oh, this is just hit after hit after hit. It's like this is really good stuff. This is one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I get what the audience gets hooked on here.
He is really good at crying alone in a seat.
Yeah, I know that this moment has been memed to death, but it just goes to show that a lot of the actors in this are much better than the script that they're given.
Casey Affleck should have been Matt Damon. Casey Affleck should have played.
He actually would have been better.
He would have been better.
He should have been the person in that role. He can play that troubled person so freaking well.
But Casey should have played who?
He should have been in Matt Damon's place. He should have been
the reason,
man.
You know the reason that they chose Matt Damon is specifically because people wouldn't anticipate that he would be villainous because he's traditionally the hero character, like through The Bourne, even The Martian.
Private Ryan.
Private Ryan. Yeah.
I love the. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Kata.
I can't remember the name of the movie. The one with the puppets.
Interstellar.
Matt Damon. No, Matt Damon.
The one with the what?
Team America?
Team America.
Yeah, he's a villain in Team America.
Oh, that's
Hold
true. That's true. I forgot about that. And then here's another one of those things where Casey Affleck's the son's going through all his what's going. You can't fucking hear what he's saying because he mumbles, and the sound, and he's like trying to say like, "Oh, Grandpa died, and we buried him outside with Jesse, which was the baby that he had, his son or whatever." And it's like I mean, if you're not paying attention, you lose that whole plot line. And then of course it's brought up later on by the Murph's character, but it's like stuff like that. It's like, why? And first of all, your sound mixing is so shit. I can't, like, if I didn't have the subtitles on, you would have missed that. And so it's like it comes and goes too fast.
It was way worse in the theaters.
I'll
be honest. When I walked out of the theater, I had no idea what this movie was about. I really had no clue.
My boss was also one of my best friends. He said he saw it in IMAX, didn't understand it, and he never rewatched it. He was so pissed at the sound design. He goes, "I never wanted to see this movie again," because he's like, it looked good, but I couldn't understand what the hell they were saying.
I can tell you're all trying to save the world and all that. Right. I don't get the mechanics of how this is working at all. I don't know these characters. It's like I can only tell by imagery a bit about what's happening here.
Yeah, and it's hard because Casey Affleck's got his son's like, I have to let you go. Like I hope you're at peace wherever you are. You're probably not alive, and it's just been too many years. So that's that's heartbreaking.
And I'm sorry, his daughter's just outright bitterness towards him. I'm like, I have a hard time buying this. I'm like, is she really? I mean, it's like this genius woman who solves like the on-Earth crisis, can't figure out, like can't discern just even a possibility of why her father had to go up into freaking space when the Earth is like all the crops are dying except corn. You can't figure that out
for you, Gordon. I can answer this. It's
She's
because all women think about are themselves.
That's
That's a good explanation.
Murphy's Law. It's my law.
Do you not think that? Sorry, Penelope. I was going to say, do you not think part of the resentment that she has towards her father is also a bit of self-loathing? Because if she hadn't discovered what was in their bedroom, he would never have left. So I think part of what's driving her is that frustration.
It could.
With her own self. She left her window open. I think
that's an angle they could have taken. And it's just
but they don't explore that.
There's really nothing that.
I think you're just making the script smarter than what it is.
a little bit, because it's just like that. It doesn't seem to inform her character in that way.
Right. Hotsman, he makes a great point. I was going to say it would have been a great take to like go back to the ship, and homie just offed himself on the ship, and he was just there dead.
Well, he does say that he had a few stretches where he slept for a long time. He didn't stay awake the entire 23 years.
Yeah. But I'm saying like that would have made it really eerie if they got back on the ship.
He was dead.
I actually like that because the same thing happens with Matt Damon's character later on. I appreciate that they don't go that angle with any of the characters because it's a conundrum. Like it's you don't know what's going to happen, but do you really have the strength to take your own life kind of deal? So it at least like it's a nice like balancing to like the the mortality that everyone on Earth is feeling versus these people out in space.
Right.
Yeah, actually, to that point as well, Romilly experienced a sense of isolation that's probably greater than what Dr. Mann did. And I just hate that the film doesn't acknowledge that, because after this, when they go along the mission, there's nothing changed about his character. He's not weird or off because he's been alone for so long. I thought that was a missed opportunity.
Well, and I think part of what at least helps to explain the reason why they wouldn't do that is the fact that, they bring up the fact that these astronauts, part of the reason they were picked is because they were detached. They didn't have strong attachments. So isolation was something they at least had some experience with. I mean, obviously Matt Damon's character was driven a little bit crazier than the other ones, but it's like that was something they had to be equipped for. So, it is something that you have to personally ask yourself, could I, deal with that kind of isolation? But it's like they picked these people because they figured they were the best equipped to do so.
Yeah, and I like how Murph figures out. She's basically looking at the equations and all his theory and like, what the fuck are we doing here? This is not like it's like doing this with two hands tied behind your back. You're not going to get anywhere with this. And then of course, like he leaves, like kind of pissed off at her. He's like, "Are you making fun of my life's work?" And come to find out that she was right, but I don't know. And then here's my favorite part of the movie. This part of the movie, I literally laughed out loud a few times. And this is where I was messaging you guys in the chat the most.
Yeah, this is the dumbest dialogue in the entire film. It's retarded.
So
it's made worse by the fact that the movie is suggesting she's right.
Yeah.
It's not suggesting she is right.
She is right.
She is right.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like the movie's telling it by the movie's own rules. She's correct, and I'm like, that's really freaking stupid.
Because they're even saying like Edmund, wasn't it? Didn't they even insinuate that Edmund's planet actually is showing more signs?
It was the only one.
Right, and then but Dr. Mann's is still pinging, so he might still be alive. So if he is alive, maybe then he's surviving on a planet for years, where Edmonds actually shows like it's the most habitable for human beings.
But so the problem with Edmonds' planet was that it hasn't been sending a ping for 3 years. They stopped receiving the message, which is because he's dead. So in a way, Dr. Mann, she's right. Dr. Brand is right, but for the wrong reason, not because of love.
Right. I just want to see his penis one more time.
I find it funny that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just joking.
Oh, I was going to say it's very funny that this becomes like a primary motivation for her for basically the rest of the film here on out. And when she does encounter a man again, this dude just looks at her like, "Oh, we fucked once," and that's it. Like there's no. She's like giving him starry eyes and everything throughout the scene, which it was. I don't know if that's part of the detachment or because he was in isolation, but again, it's weird inconsistencies that don't stick very well.
Wasn't it Dr. Edmund that she'd fallen in love with?
It was Edmund.
Oh, it was
Edmund.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Oh, sorry. I thought it was Matt Damon.
No. She praised Matt Damon for being like a super genius. He was the leader of all this shit. Like they followed him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Edmonds, she wanted to dick down Edmund, or she maybe did.
Yeah,
that's the significance of this scene is because she wants to go to Edmund's planet, which stopped sending a pin 3 years ago, whereas they want to go to Dr. Mann's, and they basically override her.
So she's saying, "Fuck the science." Like, maybe
I got it wrong.
Love, maybe love is what transcends all this, not just science.
She wants Edmonds to look at her black hole. That's all it is.
That's what it is. Twice.
Go straight through.
Yeah. And here we go. 23 years later, the corn's still there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the farms are dying." It's like, weren't they dying 23 years ago? How the fuck? Are these farms
it was like
still there?
species were dying off. That's what was happening.
Oh, look, more corn. Okay, this is another part here. So you see the son's coughing, right? And so I don't understand something. Well, it's just because he's just fucking stupid because his son died from the.
Is that cornbread on the table?
Yeah, it's corn. They were eating corn.
How did they make that with just corn?
Listen. I don't know.
Wait, what?
Let it be, Gord. Let it be.
No, wait.
Gord, let it go.
Soy milk.
No, wait, he's right. How?
Yeah, because when
eggs.
Or the man, Dr. Brand, is explaining all the crops that they've lost. He says, we lost okra this year, we lost wheat years ago. So how are they making bread?
Yeah, he said they've lost grain, and you're going to need some grain for that.
We're talking about love is a feeling that gets people to the planet. You're worried about the fucking.
Okay,
no, you hired scientists for the space, but you didn't hire anyone to tell you how cornbread was made.
Well, maybe. Okay, maybe it's because she works for NASA. They probably still have some wheat.
Yeah.
They got
Or-
They said
reserves.
they said wheat was
Hear
gone.
me out. Hear me out, okay? It's actually corn loaf, and all the people that are dying, they're using as a food source as well.
Oh,
Nice.
I like that idea.
Little
That's
soylent
interesting.
green cornbread.
Mhm.
I just interpret it as the final recipe being love.
Oh,
Well, you know, you can barbecue it, you can
Family.
boil it, you can broil it,
Family.
bake it, saute it. You
The
got
whole
corn
idea-
kebabs, corn Creole, corn gumbo. It's the corn of the sea, man.
like what I don't understand though is like his whole thing about he's very like you were saying, Nia, he's very stubborn. Casey Affleck's character and all that. But your son died from the same thing that his other son's having, this cough. It's caused by the. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, I want." You know, they're like scared to tell her to help, and they have to sneak them out of the house. It's like if you're the father and your family has been living on this. Like, what the fuck? Like, why
I think
wouldn't you want help?
This is like one of those instances
would
where,
kill it,
again,
Mhm.
go
I
ahead.
would tell my sister, "Come get my family and take them."
Yeah, like I'm just
Yeah,
thinking by
yes,
like
yeah.
logically, not by the. But maybe I'm missing
I
something.
know what they're trying to get across. He's extremely
Right.
stubborn. He's
Right.
not adaptable like his sister. He's
Right.
disillusioned and bitter, and he's clinging to a sense of duty towards the farm because that represents his father's legacy. But at the same time, if you know that these conditions are harming your family's health, you've already lost a son. I agree. You'd be sending them off to NASA where they can stay.
Right.
I was gonna say it's also kind of like one of those like this is better than the alternative because he doesn't really know the alternative and he's not capable of knowing the alternative,
understanding
and
it,
that's kind
yeah.
of like foreshadowed when he's a kid and he gets like his dad is upset that the school has already branded him a farmer, but he's like, I don't care, I know farming, I like farming. So I again, it's one of those instances where because they had Jessica Chastain and Casey Affleck, they're very good actors, and it feels like they were underutilized. That storyline could have been explored a little bit more.
Yeah, and then this is where Dr. Brand dying.
My life's
Sorry, go
work.
ahead, Jake. Yeah.
My
and
life's work.
well, first of all, you can't
a black
understand what the
hole, a black hole the size of a tangerine.
you
What's
can't
that-
understand
what's that
what the
piano
hell
that
he's
makes-
saying.
What's the piano that they use in this?
They use an organ, and Hans
Yeah.
Zimmer goes
That
nuts.
shit's
It's
so
like
fucking loud during this part that you
it's just
and
like
the theater,
X's messaging us. They watch. She goes, "What the fuck is wrong with the sound?" I'm like, "Bro, you can't."
So by now, Hans had probably started hitting the bottle pretty hard from every YouTube
Yes.
video that you can see of him during interviews.
Yes.
Getting
Yes.
closer to redoing the Lion King album and screwing that up. He screwed it up, so you know, like
Yeah.
I mean,
it's-
granted, he did make some of his best music ever, you know. But Jesus,
No, he was starting to get.
he
was going
literally
overboard.
passed out on the C note. Yeah, he's like, he's like, this is middle C. Oi.
I have to lay off the sauce. Yeah. So of course now. Again, beautiful design here. I love where the clouds are like ice when they hit it when they're like.
That's such a nice touch.
Yeah,
it's a
this
good
is
touch.
all great. Look how beautiful this looks. This looks good. And of course, yeah, this is where this fucking guy. They land on an ice planet. So this is Iceland, I think, where they filmed this. If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
this is
it's
Iceland.
so his character.
that.
The thing that I hate about his character, because I do dislike his character, even though I love this film, I dislike his character. It's so on the nose. He's Dr. Man and he's selfish and only thinks about himself.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, we get it, but
he brought the
golly,
evil with him.
It's like so on the nose. It's like, yes, humanity evil because they think about themselves.
His dialogue is
It's so
terrible.
bad.
Yeah, it's
What I was
bad.
gonna-
It's bad.
I was gonna point out because like everything he says, like I understand that they're trying to like the isolation made him go insane and whatnot, but everything he says contradicts everything else he says. It
Yep.
also contradicts his actions. So it like everything this character does and is makes no sense.
Yeah.
And not in like a good way, because there are other movies that have done the isolation, like Sunshine. I don't know if you guys saw Sunshine at all.
Oh,
Sunshine,
good movie.
Sunshine
Good movie.
eats this movie for lunch.
Right, like Sunshine did
so
the insanity and isolation thing really well, and it made sense. And I'm just wondering why it was so hard. Like it could have been done well here.
Mm-hmm.
He wants.
Yeah.
He
But I
wants
was in the
the
theater like, holy shit, it's Matt Damon.
mission.
Go ahead, Jacob.
He wants the mission to be completed, but he doesn't tell them, hey, this planet's not going to work. We need to move on to another planet.
Right.
Yeah.
Why would you hide that? Why would you be like
I don't get that. I
duplicitous
don't
about
get it.
that?
Well, he doesn't want to admit that he'd lied, right? Like I don't even think he wants the mission to succeed. He's just telling them that and telling himself that.
Right. He just wants to get out of there.
Exactly. He's extremely
Well, it's just-
cowardice.
Well,
His
and he's
character-
driven mad by the fact that he was away from people, and so his response to after waking up is killing all the people.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. His character doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Like if you're sitting there like, oh, I haven't seen anybody in years, your first reaction would be, hey, we're not going to make it back to Earth. We need to go to the other planet, all of us together. That would be his first reaction. Not, hey, let me take you out here into the desolate ice and then kill you and take your ship. That wouldn't make that part just like it threw me.
Imagine
I
being on a
miss
planet
people
with
a whole lot, so I'm gonna headbutt you to death.
67 days. Imagine if your fucking days lasted 67 hours. Oh my god.
Oh my god, dude! I'd fucking strangle myself.
No,
What
not
was
out
it?
here
It
in
was-
Could have just grown
It was
a
67 hours
girlfriend.
of
I mean,
sun and then 67 hours of cold. in the
yeah,
night.
of night, which is crazy. Yeah.
Listen, I live in the desert. If it was July and 114 for 60, I would kill myself. There's no way.
You know what's so funny about this movie is it's not that hard to make like to keep all the poignancy and remove all the ridiculous autism of it. Is if you start the movie, it's like you could intercut this movie with the actual mission that Matt Damon's character is on, and with Matthew McConaughey's attachment to his family, what he's going to have to leave behind. You get rid of all the time travel-y bull crap with the Tesseract nonsense. You get rid of all of that crap, and you really just make it about trying to save humanity. And you have, and okay, I get it. Maybe it's a little bit more straightforward, and it's not high-minded enough. It's like Nolan, it's plenty high-minded what you're going for just by trying to keep your science intact. You don't need all this other crap. You can just make it about them trying to save humanity, but also what you're leaving behind, how painful that is, and you have an awesome film.
This is why it feels like he just took bits from the papers that he was given by that scientist dude, and just like he knew he had to, because like one of the stipulations about it was that he had to make the film accurate if he was going to use that information. So it becomes convoluted in trying to build put in the narrative he wants to have there, but also work into the science that he's like given his word to keep. So I'm just but you're right, it didn't have to go as far as it did. You can take out like basically this last hour of the film. You can take out.
It's way drawn out for no reason.
He wanted this movie to be it's kind of the problem that like they say Sherlock Holmes's character has, where his biggest weakness is sometimes he wants the thing he's solving to be more complicated than it is, so he feels smarter. I feel like this movie has that same problem. Is Nolan wanted this movie to be so much smarter than it needed to be, and he ended up making it retarded.
But hey, pretty black hole.
It's equally disappointing because there's some very good like human aspects that this movie is working towards that it never quite like executes in any sort of way really that makes sense or has meaning.
And this whole thing here where like they find out that the dad died, and so Matt Damon knew what was going on the whole time and how the equation was solved and it wasn't going to get fixed, and
how they solved type 2 diabetes from all that damn corn.
No insulin. And then of course it cuts back to her trying to like, Topher Grace, what the hell? Like,
that was crazy.
Topher Grace was a better actor reveal than Matt Damon.
That's true.
Did you? Because I actually didn't mind the twist that old Doctor like Professor Brandt was like keeping. I actually liked that twist. I don't know how you guys felt.
How he kept it secret.
Wait, which one?
Like how Professor Brandt was like, there was no equation to solve. The plan was always to send people out to just recolonize another planet, not move the people from Earth. And he gave
I like
the
idea of it. I like the idea of it. I mean, it's another one of those things where I think the execution and some of the stuff that happens around it doesn't work. It's something I would need to take more notes as to why I was a little bit bothered by the way it was done. But the idea itself, I think, is actually really interesting. Because there's a lot of truth behind it that, it would be difficult to convince humanity to embark on a mission that's going to save the species, but none of them at the same time. Kind of one of the inherent problems with it is, well, that doesn't really apply to the astronauts because They are being saved by it ultimately.
Yeah.
So
And more than that, what contradicts his whole humanist approach of thinking of the species before himself is the fact that he sends his daughter on the mission,
Yeah.
so that she would be saved.
right,
So, yeah.
right.
Who has a love attachment.
Which
Mhm.
makes his character even more annoying because he knows what the mission is, and there's a bunch of people here. You haven't seen people in years. You would go, "Hey, this is not the planet. We need to leave." Like,
Yeah, just say,
but,
listen, we can go to Edmund's planet now and just see what happens. Like, or
Exactly.
come up. But the whole Jessica Chastain, Murph's character says, like, hey, what I have a feeling that something in my bedroom has the answer, and it's got
Oh
batteries.
my.
But yeah, it's like it's oh my until you realize, well, that's all my memories of my dad. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
my.
Oh,
well,
my.
maybe she's got a special corn toy. I don't know.
But here's the thing.
Check the secret
That's
drawer.
a really weird leap to make. It's like I just have a feeling it's connected
gut
to the ghost
feeling.
thing. It's like
Something on that,
you
yeah.
do? Really?
Yeah.
It's like
Just now,
you're
out of
telling me
all
as
these
you're
years,
telling me as an adult that some skepticism about all that never creeped in ever, that maybe I was a little weird for thinking there was a ghost in my room. That never. No, I had the feeling all this just goes back
And
to
then-
my bedroom. Really?
Then Romley tells him about the idea he has about going on the cusp of the black hole just before going in it. How TARS can get some information possibly before he gets
called
sucked
edging.
into it. He's going to edge the black hole. Blast his. Sorry, guys.
That was the biggest conundrum, is that they needed information from the black
To
hole,
relay
but
back.
nobody could go into it. So yeah.
Maybe he could, yeah.
And this is a plot point that isn't brought up until this point in the film. Like, it's never brought up. Like, they know that the black hole exists and they know that something could be on the other side, but then suddenly this whole issue of the data for the sake of the equation and all that doesn't come into play until this part of the film.
Well, when you're rewriting it in your head, you realize that they could have gone through the wormhole, sent one of the robots, Case or TARS, through the black hole to relay information to them that they could then relay over to save Earth, and then they could have gone on the mission. They could have solved two problems at once, without anybody dying.
Yeah. And then Matt Damon goes into this diatribe about seeing your kids and what you see before you die, and it's kind of like hinting, okay,
This
something
dialogue
bad
is
about to happen.
just atrocious.
It's creepy. It's creepy. It's
I
weird.
I was longing for the days of seeing this in the theater and not hearing what he was saying.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then
That
so
dialogue
Topher Grace is
terrible.
Yeah, so Topher Grace is examining the kids and the wife, and he's just like, we got to get them.
Yeah,
hell
and
out of
all
here.
of that is horribly done too. It's like it's all of a sudden there's
Yes.
this terrible, like really intense family drama, and they have done nothing to build that up.
It's
It
like
is
what Vex.
just like,
it's like
now they
Vex
hate each
said,
other. Weird.
For a movie that's almost 3 hours, they rush through a lot of shit to get to other things that just not well. I don't know. It's like, come on.
They
You're right.
waste
This could have been.
time-
what's going
They
on?
waste a lot of time on things we don't need and skip
We
over
don't
things
need.
that were vital.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did
Yeah.
anybody else
These
laugh?
two-
Like the first time I saw this, like when
Oh,
he
dude,
takes him
out
to
loud.
the edge, the way that he pushes him, it's just like,
Yeah, out loud. I was like, you got this fucking humanity's on the line, and these two idiots are fighting on an iceberg.
Well, yeah, not only that, but it's like once he tears the thing from the back of his head, it's like he gives him a moment to where he
Yeah,
could
like,
have.
what are you
reacted and
doing?
Stopped him. He's like, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, do you have no fight or flight? It's like, oh crap,
No.
danger. It's like, nope. It's just like,
it just
push.
turns into a comedy because he starts banging on his helmet. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're gonna break your helmet. It's like,
Yeah,
well, I got a 50.
It's like watching like a Chuck E. Cheese, a pair of Chuck E. Cheese mascots try to fight each other in those giant
It's
costumes or
so
something. It's like a
stupid.
mascot fight. It's like a mascot fight.
Oh, God,
It's so
dude,
funny
You're
looking.
right. And then you go back to this. Oh, you want another kid to die? And then they're back headbutting each other in space. It's like, what the fuck? Editing was very strange. And
It did get
sometimes
annoying
Nolan-
where he's like, we needed to finish the mission. And it's like, my guy, you're actively stopping them from finishing the mission.
Right.
And killing the
join
people
us.
you long to see.
Yeah, I have to finish because he wants to go home, Cooper. He's like, fuck it, I'm going back. You can't. I need your ship. And oh my God, dude. Could have worked this all out like adults, but no, they got to headbutt each other in the fucking middle of a planet. Topher Grace is like, what did I get myself into with this war?
Yeah, because like all the dialogue, like when Topher Grace is saying, you all need to get out of here, it's like, okay, are you making a suggestion like for like to make a plan? It's like, no, you need to write this thing. I was like, huh? It's just it's so out of freaking nowhere.
I can't look at you, Cooper. I'm here with you.
Family drama just like builds up, and it's like this is all happening in the span of like 2 minutes. This is a bit much all of a sudden.
Hey, by the way, so this dialogue, you're right. This is fucking horrible. Like, do you see your children? Do you see them now? I can't watch, but I'm with you. Oh, I can't watch it.
The fact that he doesn't catch on to it though, because he's being very ominous intentionally, and nothing seems off to him.
Oh, then he magically finds his communicator in the middle of the snow while they're headbutting each other.
While he's breathing it, and granted, I think the idea of him like suffocating and breathing in ammonia is like, yeah, that's pretty haunting, but it's just like how we got here is so silly.
It's so stupid. Yeah. Then they then you get these beautiful shots of the ship trying to find him and the mute. It's like, Jesus, dude. And then Romley dies. Poor, you know what? Christopher Nolan's racist. He killed the black astronaut. It's sorry.
It's like, okay, so wait a minute. So Matt Damon's character, he rigged that thing to explode, knowing it, like he had this all mapped out in his head, like exactly how it would happen. I'm gonna make sure it's on this specific ship. It's like, huh? It's like are you kidding me? Really?
And then she just decides she decides to kill everybody's food source. Which I get, she's trying to get her brother's attention to get him away from the house. Yeah,
arguably kind of based. Because apparently all of humanity is retarded.
Yeah, exactly. So this is where she gets him, and he's like, "I'm sorry, you were right. Edmund's penis is the savior. I mean, Edmund's is the savior.
It is girthy.
It is girthy. It's going to save us all.
Yeah, they can't save the black hole.
Corn does have. What's up, Stovepipe? Corn does have the juice. By the way, Stovepipe's my boss, so tell him to go.
I know, long time no see, Stovepipe.
Yeah, been a minute.
Yeah. Stovepipe's the one I told you who went to see the movie and never rewatched it because he couldn't understand what the hell they were saying.
Long time no corn juice.
So what happened? So Matt Damon steals the ship because he murdered the astronaut Romley. Okay, now I will say, once they get to the part where you can't hear shit. Exactly, Stovepipe. Once they get to this part where they're saving when the spaceship explodes. I love what they did with the sound design because that's how it would happen in space. You wouldn't hear shit. I was okay. So they got that right. But this whole build up here, and of course she's like yelling at the brother, like, "Oh, fuck you." Oh no, so she goes back to the house. So now here's what I understand. The watch here, if you look at the hand, it's not doing its thing. Is that only because he's not yet in the Tesseract giving the information back, or shouldn't it have been happening by now?
Well, yeah.
He's in the future, right? So like, wouldn't the
watch
it's
not
linear?
Not
necessarily.
So
yeah.
Okay.
So all of these things are happening simultaneously.
Yeah, the movie's trying to show you how they arrived at that point.
It just shows you that she likes to look at watches.
What a beautiful watch, Dad. Wouldn't the battery be dead on that watch after 23 years, though?
It was one of those ones that, like, basically every time you walked up the...
They're powered by
anomaly.
Let it go.
It's powered by
love.
Only burns 2 kernels a year.
It's powered by love.
That's where the last bit of okra went to power that watch.
That's insane.
And then
Daddy made me this okra powered.
And it's just
out
the
of
part
it
where...
trying to like grab on. And it's like quiet, and you can see it trying to latch on, and it's so good.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Very
it's good.
cool. The only thing that bugs me, and I love the way it looks. It looks amazing, but okay, they build it up before he does it as this is impossible. He makes it look pretty dang easy. It's like, oh, he just nailed it. It's like,
and then Tars or Case that tells him, well, I blocked him out. It's like, well, you could have told me that like 5 minutes ago, bro. So I didn't have to keep repeating, hey, don't open that door. Anyway. Whatever. So he has to blow the hatch. Like, here's another thing though. If Damon is a genius, wouldn't he know that blowing the hatch could possibly like just blow up that whole thing and suck him out?
You would think so.
He's not a genius. I feel like all of the astronauts are intelligent, but the smartest person here, ironically, is the one that's about to die, Romilly. He's the particle physicist.
Okay, smart. Smart enough. I mean, that's
he was our last engineer.
We're all gonna die. There is a moment, and I love the sound design here. Like I said, this is a great scene. This is probably my favorite part of the whole movie is the docking scene. Like you were saying, Nia, when they go through the black hole. To me, this build up with the score. This is Hans Zimmer's best score of the whole.
Well, I think
I
this
love
is
the
payoff
great
from the
docking
beginning.
Well, hey,
And the
just one thing to touch on Matt Damon's death. The only thing I can say to credit the fact that he died is cutting him off mid-sentence when the entire movie his dialogue has been just
That was good.
pathetic.
Base.
That's the best thing. That's the most satisfying aspect is they cut him off mid-sentence.
Yeah, I agree. But I love this. I love how the music build up and the whole thing they're doing, and this is fantastic.
And they're just like, it's impossible. It's like, it's necessary.
It's
like,
necessary.
Yeah, it is, motherfucker.
Yeah, motherfucker. Yeah, and the way they have to match the speed of it's like, holy shit. So you do get a sense of like urgency here. Like this has to work. Otherwise the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like they shouldn't have tried to build it up as though it was impossible. They should have, I think it would have been more effective if they had maybe said, this is what will happen if you don't get this right. It's like your odds are low. This is what happens if you get it wrong. It's like they give us a little bit more of an idea of that, because visually speaking, and given how quick it happens, like, oh, that didn't seem all that impossible, really.
Right.
Or maybe you have to build up to the moment. Even it's like wait a minute, we can't just jump right into doing this. We need to think about how we're going to pull this off or something.
Come on, Tars.
Just go right to it, and he nails it.
Wait, this is the alternate universe Goodwill Hunting.
Good hunting.
A little bit.
It's not your fault. It's not
his fault. It's not his fault.
Well, in this alternate universe, it was totally Matt Damon's fault.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're like 37 minutes left in the movie, and this is like finally she starts becoming nice. Well, technically when she was trying to save him, but like I just still hate her as a character. It's so fucking annoying. So yeah, this is where they have to go back to the ship and find see what the damage was. So she goes back and makes sure the eggs are safe for the incubator. Perfectly fine. But they're floating into Gargantua's gravity's pulling them in towards the black hole.
That's what you say when you drive up to Lizzo's house.
Right out of my mouth. He beat me to it like a split second.
Yeah. So this is where they discuss about getting on their edging, as Gord would say, on the black hole. And so the engines of all the spaceships in the space station pull them away far enough to where they could kind of use the gravity of the black hole to slingshot them around to go to Edmund's planet finally. I guess it would work. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know shit, but sounds interesting. And then this whole Newton's third law, which is another foreshadow. You got to leave something behind. So Tars is the one that goes into the black hole, right? So
yeah,
that's but he does say something here, and I never picked up on. Was it
Tars in the hole?
See you on the other side. God damn it, Nia, you son of a
You did say it.
I did say it. I like edging black holes. Yeah, so he's like, I'll see you on the other
You literally
side.
said that you like the docking scene earlier, so
that was a different movie. That wasn't that wasn't Interstellar.
You
gotta match her spin.
Yeah, this is all again the visuals of this when they're just float. It's fucking amazing. Like everything here looks great. Like you said, Gord, on a technical level, flawless.
Visually, Nolan
visually
is kind of unmatched. The guy knows. I mean, part of it is because, and it's impossible not to appreciate this, that he has such a dedication to practical effects. I mean, that's one of his best strengths.
Wait, was she just shitting herself? Was she just shitting herself? She's releasing. Oh,
I mean, when all you've eaten is corn for the last
right. Wait till Edmund smells this.
We call this corn pop. Corn pop was a bad dude.
I like this. This little maneuver is gonna cost it. You don't look so bad for pushing 120. Yeah,
oh god,
it's so funny.
Oh,
Detach. Oh god, poor Tars.
See you on the other side, Slick.
Yeah, she gives a look here, like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, what? And then this is the whole 90% bullshit. We agreed, 90%. And then he goes bye-bye. So yeah, they didn't have enough resources for both of them. So plus he probably figures, fuck it, man. I'll float down there too.
Well, no, I think he's leaving her in case he fails.
He fails, right? So somebody can make it.
I think the idea is he's leaving her in case he fails,
Now-
and then he can go to the other planet.
If you're gonna go by scientific shit, he would have been torn apart the minute he got near that fucking thing. But for movie purposes, this is where now
it's a gentle black hole. They said
we understand. We understand.
They actually said that. They basically said it's.
No, I know.
It's had a few things in it already. All right, they've broken it in.
Inserted. You can say what you want about the stupidity of some of the plot. This fucking part of the movie. Wow.
Well, see, this is when I thought they were going to lean into the aliens, because I'm like, there's no way you get into the black hole and survive, and it's not alien. Like that's why I'm like, okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Whoa, what the fuck? Why are we in a library? You're saying it's humans. It broke me because I'm like, okay, aliens are doing all of this. I get you. And then at the end, it's like, well,
the humans that are doing it are so indistinguishable from humans. They've evolved so they're like thousands.
Might as well be aliens.
Millions. They may as well be aliens. Yeah.
Wait, how do you know they're that advanced or that evolved?
Well, they exist and inhabit the fifth dimension. Like they're able to create all of this. They're able to create the wormhole. So they have to be millions of years down the line.
I mean, so do some autistic kids, but they don't make them exactly smart. Look at Cannoli.
He says it like, shut up. You're right, though. He did say like,
well, he basically say it's them who got there, though. It's basically the people on Earth got here in the future and sent all this back. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's where it gets me. It's like, okay, so you're saying there's a loop, there's an infinite loop of what's happening. So none of this fucking matters because it was just going to happen anyway.
Yeah, and they created this point in time to make him.
Real quick, sorry, Jacob, you were going to say something?
Oh, sorry, Jacob.
Oh, I was just take it from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the wormhole aliens. Just that's where the pocket hole dimension is in the wormhole.
Yeah. Now, was anybody surprised? Was everybody like, "Holy shit, he was the ghost the whole time"? Or was like, "What the fuck is?"
No, I wasn't surprised. That's what pissed me off because I'm like, no way we're actually doing this. Like, can we please do the aliens? Let's not make it. Oh, okay, it's love.
I thought when I first saw this, I thought the black hole is Christopher Nolan's anus, and he's up it himself.
He's up it so hard. Yeah, because he's like ripping brain. Love is what
be like the.
Go ahead.
I gotta say that the model
Christopher Nolan you'll have Christopher Nolan like the guy in the Matrix, in the white suit. He'll be sitting there.
Oh, the architect,
Colonel Sanders.
You
know what's funny?
Big words.
The actor who plays the architect, Helmut Bacchides, he was my film teacher here in Sydney.
Really?
Wow.
You had the fucking colonel.
Did he say like vis-a-vis and concordantly a lot?
Yeah,
a few times, a handful of times. Yeah,
equivocally.
Did he go? You're smarter than the others.
Vis-a-vis.
Vis-a-vis. Yeah, that's fun. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
But the set that they set up here, for when he's like floating through the books, I was going to say earlier, is pretty cool.
It's based on science as well, too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The thing is, it's impossible for us to imagine the fifth dimension, right? Like it's incomprehensible to our mind. So this is a great visual representation of something that is incomprehensible.
This is the part where Vex was like, I don't understand. Like how she knew.
Yeah, there's no, because most of the film she spent just her hating on her dad. Up until this moment, she's still hating her dad. And then all of a sudden she gets like this like period, I guess, like sense or whatever, that like something in the gonna give her an answer after like 38 years. And it's not really explained how she jumps from, oh, it's not a ghost, it's my dad. Oh, my dad is telling me how to save humanity. I don't
get
huge
this. Leap.
Yeah, it was really like, okay, you got a lot of faith in that.
It's one thing for her to interpret the binary code coming through the watch as information. I'll buy that. But the fact that she attributes that to her father is what really breaks it.
Yeah.
Especially oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially since like she figures out it's him communicating and he's making the message. So why the fuck wouldn't he make a better message than just stay?
Well,
he gives her multiple messages.
That's all he could get out.
Yeah. So the stay is the first message he attempts when he's looking through and he's seeing himself leaving. So he sends the binary code of stay. But as he processes and realizes he can't change that, he sends her the other, the formula of gravity, which Tars gives him because Tars is also on the black.
If he could like communicate through the watch, why couldn't he just like write down and slip a note through going, "Hey, bitch, this is me. I'm your dad.
It's Brittany, bitch."
Wouldn't that work the same? Anyway, whatever. This is where Tars is telling him like basically how they, like you said, Nia, they created this fifth dimension reality for them to understand what's happening in this specific moment in time, so he can relay the message. Love. This is where he goes, love.
I mean, and the thing is this really the best plan fifth dimensional beings had to solve all this? Was a bookshelf in a farmer's house in Morse? Is that really the best thing they came up with?
Yes.
Seriously?
She's the savior of the world, Gord. Come on.
It's kind of corny.
Stop being sexist.
Did anybody else think it was odd that he's also, because he's able to see her in multiple time periods in her bedroom, that there's probably one showing her undressing as well?
I thought about it. Yeah.
Well, you know what, Nia? This is Hollywood, so
I thought that was kind of creepy. You know, she was in there for years. You know, she might have that cob thing in the drawer. That.
I'm just so like when he's because like when he's in this tesseract thing or whatever, right? Like it even shows that he can see different points in time for Murph. So that's why I'm confused as to like if you have the ability to send a message, regardless of whether this is meant to happen and it's going to happen regardless, why is it that in every playback, despite the help of these magnificent alien humans from the future, you still cannot send more messages? That are there scenes that are missing? Maybe is that it? Like maybe there were more scenes of Murph getting messages through the years that would have helped piece it together better by now. That it wasn't a ghost, it was actually my father. Because look at what these messages said.
Look at what's happening. Yeah, I don't know. That's a great. It's love, Vex. That's all you need to know.
I think the only indication we get as to why she thinks it's her father is that the message is coming through the watch. That's literally the only link, and the watch is what her father gave her.
Okay, because maybe I need to go back and watch it again because I thought she figured the watch part out after she realized it was her dad giving her the signals.
I think you're right, actually, because
she sees the watch. She realizes it is some sort of code. It's not just the watch glitching.
Well, she looks at the book,
it's her father.
She looks at the book first, and it says "stay," and that's where she's like, "Oh, it was you." Then she sees the watch during this part,
and then she sees that the watch is going all haywire. So, I this is so confusing. You had 4 years, and this is the best you came up with.
Dad's gonna save us.
Fifth dimensional beings. This is your best plan.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Oh, Dad's gonna," and he just looks like, "I don't give a fuck, man." She's like hugging him and trying to explain. He's like, "Whatever."
That's such a weird thing to say to your brother after you've just burnt his cornfield.
Yeah,
and
tried to steal his
tried to kidnap his family. Like, that's gonna save us. I'd just be like,
"What are you talking about? Oh, this bitch is crazy."
He is bugging, bro. She's been eating too much corn. Jeez.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't. Again, this is another instance where they should have just spent a little bit more time on adult Murph and Casey Affleck. Why do they hate each other?
They don't really say.
It's like when they're children, there's like they've got that playful banter, so they're close, but they're just siblings, right? But there's never really like you have to interpret that it's because she went the route of their father and became a scientist. Maybe that's where his disregard comes from.
They both went through the route of their father. Like Tom adopted their father's like farming tendencies, and she adopted the engineering and scientific background. So they're both like two sides of the same coin. I never got the impression that they hated each other. I got the impression that she hadn't been back to the farm, and because Tom mentions that the last time she visited them was when they buried their grandfather. And I think there's too many painful memories at the house, so she's never visited them. But there was never any hatred.
Yeah, that's why she says No, she even says like she doesn't want to go into the room because there's too many bad memories when they're at dinner.
I interpreted it as like just like a disdain for each other more because there's never an instance where because he's trying to rebuild a bridge just like at that dinner scene with the corn loaf or whatever. But other than that, he seems like he's very upset when she just like brings a doctor by for free to help out his family.
So this part where the Tesseract collapses, I think I don't know if everybody knows that. I had mentioned it. So in the original ending, he dies when the Tesseract collapses inside of him.
Which makes sense.
And then, so you don't get the. So they changed it because the test screenings, the audiences hated it, which tells you that most audiences are fucking retarded. It's like I get it. You wanted a happy end. People wanted a happy ending. That's what the notes were coming back. Like we want a happy. We want to see him reunite with Murph and all this. I think the original ending would have been much better.
Yeah,
where he just saves humanity.
Him just randomly waking up like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah,
like,
he's also just floating in space.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, what?
He somehow had enough oxygen to survive. So you telling me that
they say that he had 3
humans
minutes of
did that
oxygen
too?
left.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it would have lent to the sense of sacrifice that Dr. Brand was mentioning, and we would have felt like he's a hero for doing what he did,
right?
As opposed to
That's it.
Oh, he wakes back up, and
you can still show the ending of humans getting out and Murph and all that without him there.
Right.
You can still do that.
Yes,
and then the ending with Homegirl on the other planet, you can still do it.
And then again, they're trying there's only 13 minutes left in here, and they're trying to throw in a lot of shit here about the space station and his house, how they replicated it. It's like this is just way too much you're trying to jam in here for the last 10 minutes of the movie for us to actually give a shit that Murph is there. Like I know what they were trying to do. Go ahead, Jacob.
I love seeing the O'Neill cylinder. It's the space station they're in. That's so cool. That would have been cool if they started off the movie in that.
Yeah, and then kind of went back and explained how they got there. Yeah.
Did anybody else think it was odd that when they mentioned they're on Cooper Station and he's just like, "Oh, you named it after me," and they all start laughing? He's like, "No, we named it after your daughter." It's like, well, he's the one that went on.
He saved it.
100-year mission. Like,
I love you.
Not you, bitch. No.
Quick question, because I don't recall this ever being explained, but how did an installation end up outside of Saturn?
He built it. This guy that's taking him through there. He's like, I've never met your daughter, but we did this for her.
But like, how did they? Like, why?
Because of the information he relayed back.
Yeah, so they built the station off of the information that he sent out, and they
figured out how to get
around.
it. Yeah, they figured out how, because in the beginning, Michael Caine was like, gravity's the anomaly's teaching us so much. So I guess enough time's passed, and his information was enough, like all they needed to get it off the ground and explain how to get it into. Listen, I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm.
Okay, just because, I was a little because so much is crammed and so much.
It's a lot.
Is crammed into the last bit of the film that I really had to go and read a synopsis.
They had to and they had to rebuild TARS.
So much into that black hole.
Yeah,
I care more about Roblox rather than the pilot who helped make all this happen.
And it's funny too because he's still not happy where he's at. He's just like, no, I don't like sitting here. I want to explore. Like I want to do what they're doing and keep going out and then this part. Okay, so this part where they try to show her as an old woman and the family. I don't know about anybody else that it just completely missed the emotional mark for me because it just happened out of nowhere.
I'm like,
it's not
even that it happens out of nowhere. It's just, it's like it's like there should be a little more than just him and her. It's like, oh my gosh, these are all my family members now.
Yeah, they would be all over him. Here. Like, oh my God, that's our great grandfather right there alive.
Yeah, and they really pulled
all this, sucking off of her and him just being a guy. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? It's like, it's named after her. Yeah, it's like all of that really rubbed me the wrong way. It's like he made all this possible.
And then they're trying to hit like this, they pull these emotional strings. Like, oh, my dad told me he was going to come. And even him, like him, I don't know. Maybe it's just based off his character, how he wasn't very emotional. But in the beginning, he's crying because he's leaving her, right?
Yeah, this is what I mean about.
And here it's like there's nothing happening. He's just like, oh, what do I do now? Like no emotion. It's like just weird.
So like this is why like because like throughout the entire film, it's a very important point that he doesn't want to leave his children behind. He wants to be there for his children. He's finally there with his daughter. Doesn't ask about what happened to his son, by the way. That nigga just fucked all the way off.
Well, fuck that
right?
retard.
But now it's just like I'm not gonna spend time with the generations that are here in front of me anymore. That doesn't matter anymore. Just rolling through space trying to find this dumb bitch that killed people.
That's how
you know. That's like seeing his daughter as an old woman. That doesn't like hit you.
Nothing.
Like,
yeah,
rather than I'm just gonna smile serenely.
That's
all
how
right,
you know,
I made it.
And that's
I
how
told
you
I'd come back.
That's how you tell. They just pasted this ending on to make the audience happy because that's not what they originally wanted. You can see it. It's terrible writing. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's an example of the film wanting to have its cake and eat it. The whole crux of the mission in Cooper's journey is that he's missing his family, he's missing his daughter in particular, and he loves her so much that he wants, and that's what propels him throughout the mission. And so then to have an ending where that love is no longer there, or you don't really feel it, doesn't come across. It undercuts everything that the movie was building towards.
100%. And so the original ending, when if he died, it would have been better if maybe she was there, or they were just like not worshiping him, but you know what I mean. Like there was a memorial for him, and she saw it, and like I don't know. This is just I got nothing out of this. Like you're right. I see Matthew McConaughey walk in, and I'm expecting that. Like when I first see this emotional moment where he breaks down. And he can't believe this is. It's like nothing. Oh, what do you want me to do? Oh, go find Bran. She's jerking off on some planet to a corpse. It's like,
if it weren't for him returning, they wouldn't have known what happened to him and the others, right? And so you think that there would be like some sort of memorial or a statue towards all the astronauts that went on the endurance.
He's literally like. I know she did some important stuff, but he's literally the most important person alive.
Listen,
and
guys.
No, the guy went through a black hole
after you.
Wait. This is all explainable, okay? Women only think about themselves.
Wait, why would she send just her father to go look for Bran instead of sending multiple people to go look for that? That's an important thing. That's the next colony. What?
I had assumed that just like because even the ship that he gets into is far more advanced and simple than the one that he left in like 90 years earlier. So I just assumed that space travel had evolved a lot more since then, which is why because they know where she is roughly, right? Like there's only one other place.
They probably know specifically. They probably know specifically where.
Exactly. So
why
that's how I figured
him?
Because Kate, I don't know, man.
Because love, and they might eventually love each other.
Hey, beautiful black hole. It was a beautiful. It
was a beautiful black hole.
Here's another major question the film doesn't answer: is the wormhole still on Saturn, or has it gone? Because there's no way he can reach her because she's on the other side of the galaxy. It would take him millions of years to get there. If
he floated through the black hole. He floated.
I mean, it's apparently a fifth dimensionally man-made black hole, so it's probably permanent. That black hole is always open. You know what I'm saying?
Real quick before we move on to the trivia, Jacob has to bounce out.
Yes, I do, unfortunately.
Yes. No, it's okay, Jacob. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Go ahead and if you want to real quick give a final rating and then tell us what you got coming up, buddy, tomorrow.
I would give this. Oh, that's hard.
That's what she said.
4.5 black holes.
Ooh, spicy.
But thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it. Tomorrow I'll be going over 3 episodes of the X-Files on my channel, and that'll be fun. Nice. And then I'll be on Roman's channel, Roman of the Empire's channel, Thursday evening, talking Sullivan Caine.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate you. And then, man, we'll see you
Thanks
around.
for having me.
Of course,
have a great night, Jacob.
Have a good one.
Take care, Jacob. Nice to meet you.
Later, buddy.
Nice to meet you,
good
brother.
to meet you too. Good to meet you. Later.
Go look at some black holes.
All right, Vex. Give us your trivia, you woman.
All right, there's some trivia that you'll enjoy in here. cannoli. Just saying. Okay.
Extra black hole.
All right. So this came out on November 5th, 2014. So tomorrow, or I guess where Niad is, it's already tomorrow. This movie is 10 years old officially.
Yeah, don't show up tomorrow on the stream. There's no show. Just letting you know.
He too was in a black hole.
It came out the same day as Big Hero 6, and this debuted at number 1, but it dropped to number 2 domestically the following week with, you won't believe which movie dropped this to number 2.
Oh, God, what?
Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
Oh wow!
God damn.
Also, during its original run, this was only in theaters for a month. Like this ran from November 5th to December 5th. Yeah.
Dang.
Damn.
Wow.
Oh yeah, its box office run was mostly international. Like I know in the US, it didn't even make 200 million in the US.
And I'm going to go over that. So the budget was 165 million. Worldwide it made almost 731 million. 75% of that was international.
Damn.
Wow.
It made 188 million domestically.
It was a failure.
Yeah. I mean, as a movie that was so well known and mostly everybody's seen
it's
it,
a
it's like
movie too. Like you would think it would.
Yeah.
His movies.
I would imagine the interest domestically was off because he had he was coming hot off the Batman trilogy. Before that, he was doing was Inception was before this as well.
Right?
Yeah. Inception was 2010.
Yeah, so he wasn't really heavy into the sci-fi stuff. So I imagine that might have been. And I'm also remembering around this time, like in the 5 years around this, there were a ton of like space exploration movies that were being churned out by Hollywood.
People were just
in 2024 was a pretty loaded year for good movies. So there was a lot to choose from that year. Granted, Dumb and Dumber 2 beating it.
Oh God.
That's rough.
Yeah,
but 2024 was actually a pretty strong year. So
2014, you mean?
2014, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, so that I don't know. Maybe there's a few factors that influence it, but it killed it internationally either way. So this movie is the first time Christopher and Jonathan Nolan have worked on a completely original script, unlike their past projects, which were adapted from novels, short stories, or comic books.
Interesting. I didn't realize. I thought Memento was original. Wow.
So Memento was billed as an original script, but it's based off of a short story called Memento Mori.
What about Inception? What would that be based on?
Oh, fuck if I know. Wait, did Jonathan Nolan write that?
Oh, that might be the thing. Maybe he didn't work on that with him.
Yeah. The method of space travel in this movie was based off of physicist Dr. Kip Thorne's works, which were also the basis for the method of space travel in Carl Sagan's novel Contact, which was adapted into a movie which also stars Matthew McConaughey. For a cornfield scene, Christopher Nolan sought to grow 500 acres of corn, which he learned was feasible from producing Man of Steel. The corn was then sold and actually made a profit.
I did know that piece of trivia that he actually grew all that fucking corn.
Which, A Quiet Place did the same thing. They grew all that corn and then they sold it.
Oh, wow, that's smart.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's good.
In early pre-production, Dr. Kip Thorne laid down 2 guidelines to strictly follow. Nothing would violate established physical laws, and that the wild speculations would spring from science, not from the creative mind of a screenwriter. Christopher Nolan accepted these terms as long as they did not get in the way of making a movie. That did not prevent clashes, though at one point, Thorne spent 2 weeks talking to Nolan out of an idea about traveling faster than light.
Interesting.
According to Thorne as well, the largest degree of creative license in this movie are the clouds of the ice planet, which are structures that probably go beyond the material strength which ice would be able to support.
It's cute that they think that's the biggest leap.
You know what I'm saying? What?
not the characters or anything.
Steven Spielberg, who was attached to direct this movie in 2006, hired Jonathan Nolan to write the screenplay and chose other projects instead. In 2012, after Spielberg's departure, Jonathan Nolan suggested the project to his brother.
Oh, God.
I'm curious what Spielberg would have done with this now, knowing that.
It would have been good.
New Spielberg.
Worse.
It probably would have sucked worse.
Spielberg
14
hasn't done
Spielberg?
a great.
No.
He wouldn't. He hasn't done a great movie since Catch Me If You Can.
Do you have the trivia for about Jonathan Nolan going to the college for having to spend like a year studying under professors?
No, go ahead, please.
Well, that was basically it. And, for quantum physics and all that. So Jonathan stayed in there for about a year and all that to help write all that. So
Nice. According to space.com, a very highly sought over web article publisher, I guess, the portrayal of what a wormhole would look like is considered scientifically correct. Rather than a two-dimensional hole in space, it is depicted as a sphere showing a distorted view of the target galaxy. On April 10th, 2019, the first photo of a black hole was made public, and it looked very similar to the one in this movie.
Yeah, isn't it
Yep,
because
I
of the
remember
movie they were able to study something about the black hole in the movie, they studied it because of that?
The black hole in the movie was based off of like real scientific data, so that's why it looked like that.
Yeah.
And then when they got the picture, they're like, "Oh, we were kind of right." So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
crazy.
yeah, that's cool.
That's crazy.
This black hole was so scientifically accurate that it took approximately 100 hours to render each frame in the physics and VFX engine, meaning every second on screen took approximately 100 days to render in the final copy.
Damn.
Hey, what?
I wonder if they had to hear ticking the whole time.
Murph.
The wormhole was placed near Saturn as a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey because Stanley Kubrick originally planned for part of that movie to take place at Saturn, which was also the storyline of Arthur C. Clarke's novel. Unfortunately, a visual effects technology wasn't able to make Saturn's rings at the time, so he changed it to Jupiter.
Interesting.
The documentary-style interviews of older survivors shown at the beginning of this movie and again on the televisions playing in the farmhouse towards the end are from Ken Burns' 2012 documentary, The Dust Bowl. They are real survivors, not actors of that natural disaster.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing that Whitey's got big worm.
That's a big dark worm right there, baby.
That is such a good joke.
I've been trying to keep it together the whole time. I'm like, I know I can put it there, dude. It's a great joke.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I've had tears in my eyes, dude. I'm like, holy shit. It's a big word.
It's a big black wormhole.
Oh my god.
Many of the IMAX lenses used during filming were prototypes never before seen, and some last-minute modifications had to be made to some of the lenses just a few days before filming began.
Okay.
Yes, I did know that one.
Right. Starting in 2014, Paramount Pictures began to cease releasing its features on traditional film stock in favor of digital projection formats. However, Christopher Nolan is a strong proponent for the continued use of film prints over digital and insisted that this movie be additionally released in 15 and 70 millimeter IMAX, standard 70 millimeter, and 35 millimeter film formats a full 2 days before its wider digital release.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's all about
Not pressing it on time there, though.
Christopher Nolan earned between $20 to $90 million off this movie.
Jesus.
Yeah. After calculating expenses, Deadline Hollywood estimated the film made a profit of $47.2 million.
Not bad.
Not terrible. I mean, it's a profit.
Could be
So,
worse.
yeah.
I mean that is
profit.
that is pretty bad. They made like $750 million worldwide, and that's all your profit is.
I know, but somebody's got to pay for Matt Damon's,
Yeah, his salary. Yeah.
Yeah. Cooper, Amelia, and Miller are all shared names with famous missing person cases of individuals in flight who were never found. So D.B. Cooper, Amelia Earhart, and Glenn Miller.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's weird.
It's cool.
Yeah.
This movie began as a Paramount Pictures production when Christopher Nolan took the director's chair. Warner Brothers, which had released Nolan's recent productions at the time, sought a stake in the project. In exchange for international distribution rights, Warner Brothers gave Paramount the rights to co-finance future sequels of Friday the 13th and South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut.
Wow.
All right.
Let's
That's
go.
quite the connection.
And I do have one piece of casting trivia.
Oh, God. If it's not who I think it is, I don't give a shit.
Who's that actor that you like so much?
Christopher Walken?
Yeah. Christopher Walken was... No, he wasn't. I'm sorry.
I was about to get excited. What?
He was going to be the
Dr.
black
Brand.
hole.
He
The
was
black
the
hole is just the opening of his mouth.
Wow.
Wow.
Taz. Get in
No.
here.
Irfa Khan was considered for a role but declined due to scheduling conflicts with 2 other
Who?
roles. Irfan Khan. He was the bad guy in one of the Spider-Man films. I think it was the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man films. He was the Indian dude.
Oh, he's the
scientist.
he's the person that owns the Jurassic World park. He takes it over.
Yes, in the first Jurassic
okay.
World,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
also the lead in Life of Pi.
Yeah.
He also died quite recently, I think. Like
Yeah,
4
yeah,
years
he
ago.
died.
that's
What?
nice.
He died.
Yeah, he
in,
died
like,
in 2020. He died.
Yeah.
in
What?
Black
young.
Hole?
Yeah.
Hold
That's
on.
He was in. You talking about the guy that was in Jurassic World, right? The billionaire.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He died in like
Fuck.
2020.
He
I
did.
think
He died of a
shit.
cancer.
Oh, shit. That
Wow.
sucks.
He was a great actor. Really like him.
You know
Yeah,
what?
he was a good
That's-
actor.
He started receiving treatment for a colon infection caused by a neuroendocrine cancer, and then he died the next day at 53 years old.
Jeez.
Fuck.
Wow.
Hey, go to the doctor.
Hey, that's still not as tragic as what Vex did to me just now with the trivia, so fuck off. I'm heartbroken.
That's all I have for trivia, though, today.
Oh, God. That was good. Thank you. Okay. So
Wow.
now we now we can go around giving our score, final thoughts for the movie. Niet, since you might not know what day it is and may not get this chance again, give us your final thoughts and a rating if you want to give one.
Sure. I do still very much like this film. I probably liked it more the first time I watched it. Subsequent rewatches have sort of highlighted a lot of the issues that it does have. I think its blend of science fiction with visual effects succeeds. It does try and include a bit of emotion in there that works sometimes, but isn't very consistent. One of the biggest flaws for me has to be the characters. They're very underwritten. A lot of their motivations are quite inconsistent. I do like Hans Zimmer's score for the most part, but like a lot of Nolan's films of late, like it tends to overpower a lot of the dialogue. We're not able to hear what's happening. You need to have subtitles to really understand what's going on. So as I said, for the most part, despite a lot of the issues that it does have, I do like this film. So I'll give it 6.5 Murphy Don't Let Him Leave out of 10.
That's fair. I like it. Kata, I hope you didn't break your heart too much with this movie since you loved it so much.
What the fuck is that? Bro, you had to like just make that. I put that video up like 2 days ago.
We don't know where Whitey gets his powers from. We just accept it. So let's go with it.
It's corn power.
Oh, bro,
Corn
send
power,
me
baby.
that. Bro, please send me that. Holy shit. Okay, so we just dismantled one of my favorite scientists.
We're sorry.
But even glaring flaws and all, I still really do enjoy the film for what it is. I can see the issues. When you think it's one of those films where it's like, I'm not going to compare it to like dumb, like actual dumb films, like a fucking Fast and Furious movie. But it's like one of those films where it's like, okay, I see where you're going. I don't really need to think too hard. You know, I enjoy it for what it is.
Sure.
So I still give it a 7. It's always been a 7 for me. Just like a movie I know I could watch, and you know I could watch it again and again. I'll be fine. So I still like the film, and I give it a 7.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh,
nice.
Vex, that's crazy.
He gives it. No, Vex. It should say he gives it a furious 7 out of 10.
Oh my god. Okay, Vex. I know you love this movie so much, so
I give this film. I think I might be generous here with it, to be honest. I think I give this 3.5 women who shouldn't be working in STEM.
okay.
There's a lot of problems with the character consistencies. I like the ideas that are presented. I think they could work if they just. Oh, I like that. They could have worked a lot better with maybe just a little bit more care and attention and eyes that weren't from the Nolans. I agree on some of the miscasting, but I don't think Matthew McConaughey was one of the miscasts. I quite like him, who he's grown into. So, yeah, this movie's dumb though. I would not willingly watch this again.
I'm gonna watch it after this stream.
Yeah, he's gonna.
No, you gotta watch The Prestige.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, dude, you're on that. You're on that.
That's it. I want to rate.
How dare you, Niet? How dare you? I'm actually offended by that one.
All right, pun king. Give me your thoughts, Gord.
I will give this 4 Tesseract bookshelf peep shows out of 10.
Ooh, that's wrong. Oh,
what is going on?
I don't want to hear that from Vex.
Don't use that
Vex is
toy,
like the
Murph.
queen of wrong.
Don't use that toy, Murph.
I think we could go through plenty of MMMs to find some wrong ratings.
That's not where corn goes, Murph.
I'm just, I one of these days I gotta match her energy. So.
On the corn, we all cub.
Oh God!
Hey,
nasty.
Hey,
Oh.
she didn't. It doesn't necessarily have to be Murph. She didn't live there all that long. Anyway,
He's thinking about the brother.
What else is it gonna be?
Is it the brother?
Well, the brother's wife isn't half bad looking.
Taking a trip on the cob.
She's too busy making cornbread out of
No, Murph, don't use the corn cob that way. But anyway, yeah, I'd give this like a 4 out of 10. I think it's a movie I guess I could liken it to as far as its reception, its quality, and what it was going for, something like Titanic, where I think it is similarly overrated. It is similarly brilliant on a technical level. It is similar. It's probably a far more ambitious film. And if it had been executed right, yeah, I think this could have been, a masterpiece. I think if he had simplified it down to some of the more human emotions and worked more on the characters and not all the time travel-y Tesseract BS and fifth dimensional humans and all that, he could have had something far, far greater. But I don't dislike the movie. I think I've watched it like 3 or 4 times total now. I don't hate watching it. It's just progressively as I've watched it each time, it's hard not to notice and be aggravated by quite a few of the issues. I mean, and it's a long movie, so it's I won't say it's a difficult watch, but it's a pretty silly film. I would put this either at the bottom or second to last amongst his movies. I think it's one of his worst.
Okay, fair enough. White Bear, let's see what image you got for yourself. Oh, here we go. My favorite one. Yeah. What about you, buddy?
Well, okay, I got a good thought out idea about what to say about this. But so what we're going to talk about here is I never thought Matthew McConaughey was that great at all. But, and motherfuckers, you can't run on corn like that. There can't be that much corn out there, okay? It can't happen. This is terrible convenience after convenience of Matthew McConaughey.
Yep.
So that's why I got to give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I guess it's my turn. Yeah, I was like Kata once. I was a naive boy who loved this movie.
Sweet summer time.
Black ones? What?
Well, I am Sicilian. We got that. We already talked about that. So technically, yeah.
He was Moore's Light.
The more I watch this movie, I do definitely see the flaws, especially this last go around. I was like, holy shit. But yes, there are things I can watch parts of this movie and enjoy them, not the whole movie. I will give this 5. I like black hole rim jobs out of 10. like I said, there's scenes I can watch, but as a whole, I don't know if I could sit through 3 hours of this shit ever again. But it is what it is. Oh god, that was fucking great. Whitey's killing me. That's this. Wait, you give everybody these beautiful things, and I get this stupid retard.
I'm working on your Autistic Awareness Month
Dopey.
logo.
Okay. I appreciate you.
Look. We got FC here.
Waylon wanted the story of how Interniga came to be, and I know that you guys quite enjoyed that story earlier this week.
Well, there goes my chat. No, I'm just kidding.
I would like to know where Interniga came from. Brown Magic Bonus Hole trademark.
Well, Brown Magic Bonus Hole trademark is just my tagline, and I'm trying to be politically correct for all of the cis and non-cis women out there. I have a black friend, a very black friend from Detroit, and when this movie came out, he was so obsessed with it that he started to think that he was like he was Interstellar almost. So he started calling it Interniga. And every time he would watch it, he's just like, I'm on that Interniga shit. And I'm just like, oh. And this has continued for, I've known it for like 12 years. And every time he watches this movie, he's just like, man, Interniga is so good.
I know. I know what notice I'm going to be getting in the morning. Add suitability. You're only getting semi-monetized now from the stream.
Oh my god!
Oh, I love it. That's worth it though. Oh god.
Okay. Quick question. Would you rather watch this or Ad Astra?
I haven't seen Ad Astra.
I would rather watch this. Ad Astra is very boring.
What's it about?
Awful.
It's basically Heart of Darkness in space.
It's
a poor man's
Brad Pitt
2001.
What's his name? Who the fuck?
Well, Heart of Darkness is what Apocalypse Now is based on, and it's a really bad. It's not a good version of it at all. It's a very poor man's Apocalypse Now.
It's space. Bad. Don't watch. It's boring. Don't ever watch it.
Yeah, it's very boring. Okay, y'all made the right decision.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as tismy as this movie, but it's this.
At least this movie's entertaining.
Yeah, this movie hits. At least it has superficial appeal. Ad Astra, it's very forgettable.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Well, shit. I can't believe we actually scrubbed through that took 51 years to scrub through that fucking movie.
We haven't had a 3-hour show in a hot minute.
Wow. Well, it makes sense for this kind of movie though, because it is a long movie.
Dude, you managed to scrub through Titanic in 80 minutes. So I don't know if you want to.
Well, that just shows you how much I hate Titanic.
You mean he managed to scrub the Titanic in 80 minutes?
80 minutes, yes.
It was like a 91 gig download.
Waylon wants to know Interstellar or Gravity.
I haven't seen Gravity.
Interstellar. Instinctively, I would want to say Gravity, but the reality is I've seen Interstellar 4 times. I watched Gravity once and was just like, overrated.
Okay. It's okay.
I've watched it one time and I was pissed the entire time.
Yeah, it's
what?
Like I think Gravity. I know the first time I watched it, I was just kind of like, wow, they were going on and on about this. It's all right, but I never went back and watched it again.
Is Gravity the one with Sandra Bullock?
Yeah,
and George Clooney, and they get rid of George Clooney in like the first 10 minutes.
Oh, thank God. Maybe
that did boost the score, by the way.
It's directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who also did The Revenant.
It looks amazing.
It's amazing.
No, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's
I'd have to rewatch
beautiful. It. I don't know how well it holds up.
I'd have to rewatch it. It's been a long time. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that's it. That's Interstellar. Oh, God. Great show. Great panel. I guess, we can go around, shout out what you got going on. Niat hopefully knows what day he's got shows. So, Niat, what do you got coming up, buddy, on your beautiful channel?
So, on Wednesday, I'm on Gooch's show covering, what is it called? Attack of the Clones.
Nice.
And then I think I'm on Nadia's From stream on Friday. And then Saturday evening is going to be my show. We're covering Predator 2, which Flex is going to be a part of. And Canola, you got to get back to me. Let me know when.
I know. Yeah, I'll let you know definitely, because Predator 2 is one of those movies I actually kind of like. Even though it's nowhere near as good as the first one, but you'll
so good.
It's actually, if I'm looking at my calendar correctly,
it's got Gary Busey, baby. Come on,
baby. You're gonna be back on in a couple of weeks for Twilight.
Yes, sir. That's gonna be fun.
Woo! Yeah, baby. Yes. Yeah, go check out Nia. His channel is fucking great, man. All his info is in the description. Please.
Thank you.
Kata!
Yes, I'll probably put out a video tomorrow roasting somebody because that's usually what I do. And then why am I drawing a blank? What's today? Monday? Okay, Friday.
You are the internigga. There you go. That's
Wow.
Friday, I will be doing New Black Street. Make sure y'all go sub to that. I don't know if y'all ever watch that stream that me and Atreus do, but from what I hear, we do pretty good. So y'all should go look at that stream. It's pretty fun. We got a surprise for everybody this Friday. I'm not going to say what it is, but I'm pretty sure everyone will enjoy it. I'm not giving any hints, but please don't miss it. You will fucking love it. And then Saturday, I'll probably be on Saturday Night Hypnosis with Hypnotic and all of them. Probably, I'm not sure. And then next Monday, we'll probably be doing the Penguin Roundup. You know, the end of the Penguin. Unfortunately, it's ending, so we'll be doing that on Nadia's channel.
Yeah.
And then other than that, yeah, just look out for videos, follow the YouTube, follow the Twitter, look for some more shenanigans.
Nice. Definitely. Thank you, sir. White Bear. Yeah, open up your hole, baby.
Oh, wait. Oh, you skipped Gord. Oh, God.
Yeah.
God, now that just makes me look like I'm spreading my junk. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay.
There you go.
How does he have all of these on deck like this?
You don't want to know.
It's ridiculous.
So I got probably 6 more videos coming this week. I got out 6 last week, or maybe a little bit more. I don't know, but yeah, just follow me on the Twitter and see what page should come out on Bear Clan. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, and you'll be able to see all the videos that come out because I usually link them there. So
nice. Yep, definitely. They're funny. I like your relaxing.
Yeah, those have been hitting nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Oh, Gord King.
Why?
I know you've been playing Red Dead 2, which is
I have, and I'll be playing tomorrow in what I've decided to deem, the Red Dead election stream. I mean, granted, I don't know how much I'll actually talk about the election, but I'll be doing it tomorrow probably right after I'm done voting.
Hell yeah.
So that'll be fun. But as far as videos go, I'm working on my next Poorly Explained, which I'll be poorly explaining the plot of The Terminator, 1984, and have some other plans for a couple of more straightforward videos following that one. But yeah, so that'll probably be out next week, probably Wednesday.
Nice. Looking forward to it. And of course, Vex, you have 18 projects working on right now. So what do you got coming up, if anything?
Yep. Working on a Juror number 2 review because I really enjoyed that. Great movie.
Nice.
Also, because I did that whole Predator marathon, I have a Predator video in the works as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Go.
And then after that, probably a Heretic video, but I've started a script for The Descent as well.
Nice.
So
That's a great film.
Good
I
movie.
love it's one of my favorites. So I'm just because I lost my voice for a week there. I just have all these scripts that I've written, and I just have to record the audio.
Hell yeah.
And then other than that, I'll be on Gooch's. Oh no, Gooch moved. He canceled because the election's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be on Niats on Saturday to do Predator 2, which is probably the most disappointing sequel ever.
Jesus Christ.
True that.
Yeah. Where's that picture?
I know. Fucking White Bear. As far as the show here, MMM, we will be back next week. We are doing what the fuck are we doing? Oh, Interview with the Vampire, which I have not seen.
Yes.
In
You've never seen it?
Years. Nadia. Nadia's going to be on that. She's going to shoot on over to our channel once she's done doing her Penguin review. So she'll miss the first.
We should play her favorite movie instead. Just get her here for
Oh
Interview with the
yeah.
Vampire.
Velociraptor player.
I've been hoping that Velocipaster 2 comes out soon, just so when Nadia is on, we control her with that. But there's still no release date.
No, it's happening.
Seriously though,
In a way, if it drops suddenly, we could like have her on for some other movie. It's like we got news, different movie, boom,
Right.
Boom, we're switching.
Dude,
to
as
this.
soon as she gets here for Interview with the Vampire, though, just start playing Velocipaster.
Velocipaster.
Ruin
It's on
her
YouTube.
freaking week.
It's on YouTube too, so you don't even have to like download anything.
Yeah.
I know. Oh god, I cannot wait. Hopefully soon. Yeah, no. So right now the plan is Interview with a Vampire, unless all of a sudden Velocipaster 2 comes out. That's what we'll switch to. And then like I said, we're looking forward to that same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, Interview with a Vampire. Again, a movie I have not seen in years. I don't remember anything about that movie, so I'm looking forward to the rewatch. That's pretty much it. I want to thank everybody on the panel. You guys are always fantastic. Thank you for stopping by and being our guests in the chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all the people with the super chats and the memberships, and you're all wonderful. Subscribe to everybody here if you haven't already, but you probably have already. And then that's it. We will see you next week. Hopefully everybody's alive after tomorrow and there's no civil war in the country. I'm prepared. I don't know if everybody else is. Niat's cool. He's on a whole different continent. He's good. So
I'm in a different galaxy.
He's in a different.
He's on the other side. He's on the other side of the bookshelf.
He's also the internet.
Everybody be safe tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you next week. Thank you and goodbye.